Happy Thursday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today. We are going to get started on today's daily collective read in the next few minutes, but if you would like to get on the list, as always, is open. As always, it is 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I do not read for across these apps. Those are pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We are also doing we're doing a giveaway today when we will be giving a free reading when we get to 50K likes, so make sure you're tapping that screen, and we will get to 50K in no time. We are going to be doing things a little bit differently today, given the fact that we are on a bit of a tight schedule time-wise today. So what we'll be doing is we are actually going to be starting today with personals and 1 cards, and time permitting, we're going to see if we have enough time to be able to do a collective once we complete the personals that are on the list for today. That said, if you would like to get on the list for today, the list is open. You will be the 6th person read for. It is 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please, as I mentioned, keep in mind there are 3 things I don't read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal, but you can have a reading that includes a highest priority message from spirit, life path, mediumship, dream interpretation, angelic guidance, animal spirit guide reading, pet readings, akashic, mind, body, spirit, and love. If you have information that you feel is relevant for the purposes of our read, make sure that you are including it in the notes when you send the donation, or posting it in our subscriber only Disco channel in the appropriate channels. But before we begin today on reads and on 1 cards, first and foremost, most important question: how are you doing right now? We are coming out of, here's the thing about it. I want to talk a little bit. We got to have a little, we're going to have a little chat. We're going to have a little chat. We're going to have a little chat about full moon Libra in Aries season, because I know it's a lot. And here's the thing about it. It's about navigating a lot. Like that, when I mean it's a lot, I don't mean that metaphorically. I mean, and I want to kind of describe to you what we've been seeing energetically to kind of help you through what's going on right now. Okay. So we effectively have, and we're going to continue to talk about this because it's really important. And this is just going to be, again, a little bit of a primer to remind you that just because something is in retrograde doesn't mean that it's necessarily a bad thing. Because the thing is, the truth about it is, Jupiter in Cancer potentially feels more, I don't want to say more healing, but I got to point it out, it feels more soothing. Okay? Because you have to understand that that's a lot of vulnerable stuff that's happening there. Okay? It's a lot of vulnerable stuff that's happening there. Cancer can often bring out, and the way I like to describe it is, and we talk about this whenever we're going through Cancer season, we talk about it, like the work of a healthy ego, which is the space by which we have that healthy shell of the self, right? The work that we effectively identify and do. So we've got all of that Cancerian energy there that works us through the experience by which we're navigating the energetic shell of things, or the healthy shell of the self that comes with what we arrive to when we were working into the space of a healthy ego, right? But the only way you can get to that, right? There's only one thing about it. There's something important to keep in mind. The one thing about that that's really important is, how do you get there? You have to be really vulnerable, right? You have to be really vulnerable. It's hard work. It's painful. It's rough. Okay, it's rough. It's rough on them spiritual streets. But this is why it's rough, right? Because it's hard, because it requires us to do a lot of that work to try to strike that balance within ourselves. And that's what a Libra full moon in Aries season can feel like. It's the feeling, but even when you're doing it right, you wish you could be doing it better, right? That's literally the vibe, because that's often the space by which we understand that we're navigating things with a level of tenderness, right? And that modality by which we effectively work through things is how we identify and recognize the space or the shape by which we ourselves are trying to do something in the best way possible. Now, one of the things that we identify about this energy is, and we were talking about this yesterday, it's having a different impact depending on whether you connect to masculine, feminine, or non-binary energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. And I want to tell you right now, the focal point that we're potentially identifying is working through the observation of being able to apply energetic effort towards things, right? And I want to describe this because I've got the cards here from yesterday's reading, and there's a lot going on there. And the space by which we effectively recognize that helps us to see how difficult some of this energy is right now. Because those, I got to tell you, those cards yesterday, we're going to start with masculine energy. There was a lot of pentacles there, you know? And the thing about it is the space by which we understand or work through pentacle is often, I feel like there's often a misunderstanding that pentacle just means monetary. It doesn't, right? Like that's not what we see when we see a lot of pentacle energy. We understand that pentacle energy is working upon creating solid ground, right? Like, and that's the shape. And this is what we understand in relationality to what the shape, the form of our love takes. Our love never feels better to another person than when it comes in the form of stable ground, because that energetic stability that we create for each other, and we do it, right? We do it in different ways, right? And it's not the space by which we're energetically proportional as it relates. And this is why you have to understand, like, taking prescriptive approaches to things is often the wrong energetic direction, because the modality by which we understand and energetically communicate upon one another in terms of what stability is, that's the conversation that we have with one another that allows us to deepen our love by being able to communicate how we are trying to hold one another better, right? But the only way you can have a conversation about how one can hold each other better is if you're in touch with your vulnerability, right? The modality by which you're able to energetically empathize and you don't get upset by it, right? You don't take that work personally. You take it profoundly. And there's an expansion on the other side of that, because it allows you to be able to build a connection with another with the clarification in the difference between how we feel, right, in the act of effectively giving something versus how another person experiences receiving it, right? And that is the effective equal energetic exchange that we articulate upon, right? It's not the space, and we often miss, and this is often something that is misunderstood, right? It's not the space, and this is where we have to recognize the care of making sure that we're not too deep in our ego. It's not the identification point of effectively giving what we ourselves desire, but making sure, right? Making sure that another person receives it and they feel the same way about it, right? Because that is the experience by which it's not just what we ideally feel, but trying to create the feeling that we have as we give it, that another person has as they energetically receive, right? So that is what we mean by healthy energetic exchange. It's the modality by which it's not just the way that by which one feels good, right? Because if you're in the modality by which you're giving something and you feel good, and another person saying, I don't feel good that you're giving it, that upon receiving it, then it's not creating, right? It's not the sustainability of the energetic feeling. And that's why we understand that love is active listening, because it's the modality by which we are able to attenuate and understand how another receives it that identifies it as energetically reciprocal. because the energetic reciprocity isn't the space by which we say, oh, well, if I got that, I would love it, right? Like, that's not what we're trying to do. It's the understanding of another person saying, I am receiving it and I'm feeling the same energy that you are feeling in the offering of it, right? So that is what we effectively articulate in relationality to being able to heal our energetic connections. But the only way we're able to do that is if we're building into the space of empathy and vulnerability. So I feel like that's a lot of the work that we see that masculine energy is doing right now as they continue to work towards deeper healing. While for feminine energy, the one thing we're identifying here has to do, and I just kind of want to describe some of the energy that we're seeing right now for feminine. For a lot of the work that we see that feminine's working upon right now is, I feel like there's something important about feminine recognizing and identifying the space of navigating, and I want to describe this. Hyper independence creates feelings of isolation, right? And the modality by which I feel like there's a lot of the feminine energy that is having to work to try to heal that. And the hard part about it that we often see is the space by which feminine energy often feels disconnected from other feminine energy, because the modality by which we understand and recognize, right? And I want to kind of describe this in terms of what we were seeing in yesterday's reading, right? The shape of trauma that potentially creates the modality by which one feels like one must always be strong. This is also what's difficult and damaging, because again, what happens to feminine energy when others aren't doing the work in navigating their emotions, right? It puts the feminine in an impossible energetic condition, because it's the modality of what is being asked of the feminine, but what the feminine knows they have to bring to situations. So the modality by which the feminine is said, why can't you be more vulnerable? And why can't you be more vulnerable, right? But meanwhile, we see the feminine energy moving around, and everybody's saying to the feminine, here, carry my emotions for me, right? Here, no, here, be vulnerable, but no, wait a minute. No, I know. Before you're vulnerable, here, can you just please deal with these emotions that I'm not ready to deal with? The space by which feminine is constantly in the space by which they have to feel the extra burden of having to navigate others' emotions puts them in an impossible circumstance, which is space by which the feminine feels that they're often being asked to be vulnerable and at the same time being asked to carry everything energetically, right? How can you be vulnerable? How can you be vulnerable? Can you just figure that out? Like, how can you please be vulnerable as you learn to carry everything, right? And here's the thing about it. This is almost the feminine that feels eager, right? The feminine that desires the space of being able to be there in that way. But it's the understanding and the acknowledgement and the energetic appreciation that often makes that possible, right? And it comes in the form of working upon, right? The understanding of being able to see those energetic stabilization points. And so I feel like that's a lot of the feminine energy that often works through that and often feels in the space by which they're trying to do so that they're misinterpreted. But even in the space by which they're working through the misinterpretation of the self, I feel like that's the feminine that feels doubly affirmed in terms of being able to articulate and attenuate upon what they're working forward towards. And I feel like a lot of that energy, and I want to describe something I was seeing there. I feel like it's hard for some of the energy of the feminine that's doing that work, because it's the recognition of what happens when energy, right, when energy moves too much towards embodying the toxicity that occurs in spaces by which you've had your trust damaged, which is the modality by which one becomes, right, the space by which one becomes energetically hyper independent, right? And then often, like, the hyper independence often leads to passive aggressiveness, because it's a modality of the feminine that doesn't feel the ability to energetically communicate upon the needs, right? And this is why I feel like that's a lot of the feminine that's working harder to try to understand that the space by which we articulate things is how we effectively heal it, right? We heal it in order for others to feel it, and the space by which another person feels it allows us to be able to expand upon those possibilities more. So we see that that's a lot of the energy of feminine potentially taking. It's like I feel like there's a lot of the modality about the feminine that's potentially working through experiences like that, but there's a lot of emotionality that may be connected to that as well. Because it's almost like the feminine working through that and feeling triggered, right? Feeling triggered every moment as they're trying to do so. Now, this brings us to the non-binary energy. And the non-binary energy we were seeing yesterday, let's talk a little bit what we're seeing here. Because those cards yesterday that we were receiving were really heavy. And the heaviness that we were seeing that were potentially coming through for a lot of the non-binary energy is working into the context of feeling that in order that often one feels the space by which that the energy has a hard time energy has a hard time communicating upon feelings, specifically because one of the major, and I need to point this out, the hard part about healing is sometimes the things that you need to bring forth within the self in order to be able to move through something become the things that one is trying to let go of when one finds oneself in a deeper healing space, right? Like that's the most painful part about healing, right? The same weapon, right? The same emotional, like the same weapon that you effectively forge for yourself is what one needs to release as one continues to heal. And it feels unfair, right? It's upsetting, it's frustrating, it's painful, right? The fact by which we work to be strong and then recognize that all of that strength that we needed, we then are working to basically try to move into the space of being softer again. But that's why we see that for a lot of the energy doing that work, it's being able to recognize why there are feelings that come up in relationality to that. And a lot of them have to do with the space of being able to communicate the emotions. And I keep on seeing it's difficult for some of the energy because they feel like there is an entitled perspective that often occurs as it relates to the ability and weight that others are allowed to have in terms of being able to feel emotions versus their own ability to do so, right? Because I feel like for a lot of the energy, the ability to move towards authenticity, right, required them to be able to have to stop emoting at some point because the space by which when they try to emote, instead of another person receiving it, right, the space by which another person tried to articulate that there was something wrong with someone because they were expressing frustration or anger or some kind of feeling, right? This is often the modality. I almost feel like a lot of that energy had that experience by which they effectively like had to feel the space of moving towards authenticity, but having to let go of the emotions to a certain extent, or feeling like the ability to be able to like articulate emotions was a privilege only granted to those, right? Oh, the privilege that was only granted to those who are not in the space of being in the authenticity of self, because the frustration that when they themselves express something, it isn't seen as something objective about the situation around the self, but rather something that another person tries to project as subjective, right? The emotionality that articulates that there's something energetically wrong with one's personhood. So that's why we see that for a lot of the energy working through this, it's really frustrating. And it's really important because it's almost like the energy says they had to lose the luxury of being able to have a crash out. And then meanwhile, they get to see everybody around them who has the privilege of being able to be in their emotions at every moment. You know, it's painful. It hurts. But that's why we see that for a lot of the energy, the ability to be able to articulate that they are allowed to have feelings too. And those feelings are not conditional of the fact that they're unhappy with themselves, but unhappy with the situation surrounding the self, right? I feel like that is the conversation that one is trying to articulate, and why the relationships, like why the space by which the relationships that they are building upon often hold their emotions so energetically sacredly, because it's the observation. Like when energy's like this, it's like it doesn't come out much, but when it does, it's like it doesn't come up much. But when it does, it's because the point must be punctuated. That is where we find all of the energy prior to beginning today's readings. But if you'd like to find that full reading, you can find it over on the place where we keep the videos. You can find it over on the place where we keep the photos. You can also find it as a podcast over on my spot at Tarot Church and over on my Stack. I'd also encourage you to head over to my Stack to learn more about our next tarot class. I will point out there has been a change of date on the tarot class. If you are planning on coming to the tarot class, please note that the class will not be being held this month on Thursday, April 16th, but rather it will be held on Friday, April 17th. If you'd like to become part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head on over to my Stack, and I will be notifying those who are already subscribers of that change. If you have not already been notified, I'm notifying you now. If you'd like to become a part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head on over to my Stack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my Stack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a paid subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive if you are a monthly subscriber. It's not necessary to catch up. I do my best to give you an update on everything we've been seeing energetically prior to beginning each class, but the material is there for you to receive when you're ready to receive it. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything we've learned and studied thus far. And if you become a founding member, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, you'll also have access to over 20 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive, as well as the opportunity of receiving a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage, moving towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I try to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Stack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events, as well as my online live schedule and my mystic meditation oracles. I just wrote one this week about navigating this full moon. If you want to get more information on it, you can find it over there. Finally, I want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly, as your schedule permits. Also, for my students seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly, as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I'm also very happy to offer dream interpretation readings, which can be purchased per dream or as a series. If you purchase the series, I encourage you to start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. But let me know in the comments how this energy is impacting you personally, because it is going to hit a little bit different for everyone depending on your astrological signs. That said, we are going to get started on personal readings today. If you would like to get on the list for today, you will be the 6th person read for. It is 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers, Binks and my Lio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I don't read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Also, remember, we're doing a giveaway today. When we get to 50K likes, I'll be gifting a reading back to the collective. So make sure you're tapping that screen, and we will get to 50K in no time. I'm doing good today, Julia. How are you doing? So good to see you, and thank you for those likes. Welcome, Avatar. Good to see you as well. Happy full moon, Queen. And thank you, Phil, for joining us. Hi there, Julia. Happy Libra full moon as well. I know this full moon hits hard. It's a hard hitting one. I knew it was going to be, right? Because and I like to point this out. It has to do, right? Like it's because of all of, and I want to describe this, right? It has to do with all of that Aries energy that is currently, right? All of that Aries energy that's in Libra, which is like a lot of that burst energy, and then you're just trying to work towards balance. So it can sometimes feel, right? And this is, but I actually think that there's something about it that feels very healing, because specifically the space by which we navigate or recognize, right? Like the space by which we work through a lot of that burst energy, as it were, or like a lot of that, like a lot of that springiness that we feel with this many planets in Aries. It helps us not to over internalize it, right? Like that is the important thing about it. I know, and here's the thing about it too. It's made a little bit harder not to over internalize it, because Jupiter is in Cancer. Because Jupiter is in Cancer, which is like, how are those feelings doing? Like, you got a lot of feelings there, and then in the middle of feeling all of those feelings, right? You get a lot of this type of energy that's happening. Fueled by our purpose. I like that, Julia. Following your joy, tap to claim. Good to see you today, Kay. How are you doing? Per, good to see you as well. Thank you for those heart me's, guys. Please remember, recharge your heart me's. If you are a subscriber or a super fan who would like to have a one card reading today, welcome to those joining us over on the place where we keep the videos. Joanna, happy to have you get on the list. If you'd like to get on the list, all you need to do is send the donation via my tree that has links in it in my bio. I'll also remind you that anyone who's joining us over on the place where we keep the videos, if you become a paid member there, you get the same discount that I indicated, which is 4 cards for 23, as well as a free 1 card reading each day. Excellent. And welcome as well to those who are joining us on the place where we keep the photos. I will also point out, my friends, I would very much like to be able to offer memberships, much like we do over on the place where we keep the videos and the clock app. So in that way, I would like to ask you guys to make sure to try to stop over there and give us a follow. When you give us a follow there, I would deeply appreciate it. Just comment followed. And also, here's the thing about it. If you give me a follow over there, I'll be happy. I will be giving you a personal affirmation from a guide for the advanced soul. And if you're already following me there and would still like an affirmation, you just need to go ahead and share this live with 3 individuals and just comment shared. And I will also be happy to give you one of those affirmations as well. Excellent. Good to see you as well. Good to see you, Minnie. How you doing today, Yaz? Thank you for also confirming the accuracy of the read. I do my best. Excellent. Welcome. How you doing today, Kabir? If I'm ever saying your name incorrectly, by all means, please feel free to correct me. Thank you as well, Mamo, and thank you for sharing the live. Absolutely. Communicates the needs repetitively just to end up feeling let down or frustrated. Beautifully stated, Yaz. Absolutely. I'm on my lunch break, but I still need my reading. Oh dear, I haven't reached out. Life is busy. It's okay. Don't worry about it. So you know the way it works here. If you're on my hold list, you just need to tell me the date you were put on the hold list. I'll be happy to add you back to the list. So anytime you're ready to get back on the hold list, if anybody's on the hold list today who would like to be added back, I just need you to give me the date, and I'll be happy to add you back. And thank you as well, War, for the follow. This is exactly what I needed, claiming this. Thank you as well, Tupi, for being here and receiving these messages. Good to see you today. Thank you for confirmation. You're so welcome, Batty. Hope you're having a beautiful day. I had to have my guard up because of hostile environments. I can't even be happier without an issue. Sending you so much support on that journey and sending you so much support on your continual healing. Absolutely. And thank you so much for reposting, dear Mamo. Thank you for sharing the live. And Jade, thank you for the heart me. Absolutely. You remind me of, oh, thank you, Jade, for being here and receiving these messages. Absolutely. Hi there, Kath. How are you doing today? Excellent. You did an astral projection. Interesting. How did that go? All right. Yes, this full moon is preparing us for upcoming multiple planets in Aries. I mean, like, we already have, I need to point this out, we already have a lot of those occurring right now, you know? It's a lot. Absolutely. Is there a highest gift or giveaway today? So currently, so in terms of the highest gift or giveaway, I'm not sure if we're gonna have time to do a daily collective today, but we are doing the 50K. So I can't necessarily give the highest gifter when I'm not sure if we're gonna have time to be able to do a daily collective. But we are doing the giveaway for the 50K. So make sure you're tapping that screen. It's hitting my first house. Absolutely. How are you doing today, Steve? My Aries moon is oscillating between rage and tears right now. But here's the thing I want you to understand, right, Dandy? If you're feeling like that, right? Like if you're feeling a lot of that, I want you to just kind of make sure that you're working upon, give yourself the time you need and appreciate how far you've come, right? Because I know there's a lot to feel, right? And I like to point it out, our rage becomes purpose when we allow it to activate us in ways that feel like they're necessary and important. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the help, Kay. Guys, please thank our mod Kay for being here and all of the assistance. And Mr. 77, thank you so much for the follow. Absolutely. Hi there, Heather. How are you doing today? Welcome. Yeah, hold on a minute. Just reading over. Dandy, if I won the 50K giveaway on Monday, can I claim it today? Yes, absolutely. If you want to claim that, I just need you to tell me. You just let me know if you want to claim it today, and I'll be adding you on the list for a reading today. How are you doing today, Gina? Absolutely. Hold on a minute. Okay. Just bear with me a moment. Perfect. Hi there, Gina. How are you doing today? Hi, I'm feeling drained and emotional. Anything happening in the universe? Well, we just gave a recap on what's happening right now. We just came out of I need to point this out, we came out of a very intense full moon. And often the space by which we go through full moon energy, it can sometimes leave us feeling a little bit drained or a little bit depleted. So just be mindful of that if that's something that you're currently experiencing. Absolutely. You're so welcome, Avatar. Excellent, Dandy. I got you on the list. Perfect. And I will point out to anybody who is interested in getting on the list today, we have 4 spots available before the list will be closed. Absolutely. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that that's the work that you're doing currently. Good to see you. I know, she is the best mod. Thank you guys so much for giving her some credit. She's fantastic. Absolutely. I feel drained as well. Sending you so much support, Heather. As I mentioned, friends, we are going to get started on today's daily collective. If you would like to get on the list for today, the list is open. We've got 4 spots available before we close the list today. So make sure if you would like to secure one of those spots that you do so sooner rather than later. Also, just a reminder as well to make sure that we are also going to be doing a giveaway when we get to 50K likes. So make sure you're tapping that screen, and we will get to 50K in no time. That said, yes, I meant the personals. Thank you for clarifying, Kay. Before we get started today on the personals, we are going to warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide card here. We're going to count back from 10, and when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the water dragon. Thank you for participating. We'll do that again after the next reading. First person we have on the list for today for our reading is going to be, we have Julia on the list. Julia, if you're here, can you please respond in all caps? Let me know if you would like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. Hi, dear. And thank you so much for that beautiful gift as well. I appreciate it, Dandy. Send question in disco. I appreciate it. So just a reminder to those joining us, if you have information that you feel is relevant for the purposes of our read, if you have a dream that you would like interpreted, or if you have a past life that you would like more information on, you can include it in the notes when you send the donation. You can also post it in our subscriber only disco channel in the appropriate channel. Just bear with me a moment. Can you tell me what channel you posted it in, dear? Just bear with me a moment. And thank you, Sissy, for those heart me's. Appreciate it. Oh, thank you. Okay, that helps. I see it here. Perfect. Excellent. And thank you so much, Heather, for getting on the list. We have 3 more spots today before the list will be closed. Understood. Okay. So we've got, okay, so this is, I'm assuming that we're, yep, thank you. I'm assuming we're going to keep this inside T. Let's see if we can get some clarification and relationality to what you're energetically connecting with. And before we continue right now, I am going to, just a reminder, we've got 3 more spots available today before the list will be closed. Yep. Okay, so effectively what we have occurring is we have 2 guides that have connected, and we're trying to effectively get clarification in relationality to the connection point of those guides in terms of why, like where they're coming forward from, and what they're trying to energetically communicate in relationality to you, kind of having that modality of connecting with them. Can I get 4 cards, please? I get it. Yep. Wow, that's really interesting. And you get 1 more card. So we can thank you because you were the first one on the list. Just So I need to point out, I'm seeing here that the guides are effectively connecting to you right now, specifically in relationality to working through like some kind of feeling of energetic disconnection is what I keep on getting. And the thing about it is, I would not be surprised right now if you feel like you're going through an experience by which you feel somewhat energetically isolated, is what I keep on getting, right? And the thing I keep on identifying about that is working into the context of being able to recognize and identify how I keep on seeing how it feels to not feel the ability to have others energetically connect with what you yourself are effectively trying to aspire to see. And it's interesting too, the fact I'll be very curious about whether you felt that connection point that came towards you in the space by which they came together. Because I am actually seeing that in the dream space that they were effectively representing, right? In the dreams, well, it's funny that I'm saying the dream space because it's saying to me, I feel like there was a dream quality to it. I feel like I see that in a way that they were effectively coming towards you as representations of masculine and feminine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. And specifically, what I'm effectively identifying there is, and we're gonna start with the first one. We're gonna start with the energy that was coming towards you, trying to effectively help you heal a relationship to masculine energy, because I feel like what they were trying to articulate, and I just want to show you these cards. And it's interesting too, because I almost feel like there's something there. Like it almost feels like there's something corrective that's happening there. Like particularly and especially in relationality to the understanding of working through the context of feminine, because I see, like, I almost feel like I see somebody saying that, like I see somebody identifying the fact that what I'm basically seeing there is somebody articulating upon the fact that at different times, different things are required to be called forth within the self, is what I keep on seeing. I just keep on getting this really strong message in relationality to that, which is saying that, like, I almost have somebody saying it's not, and I'm not sure where this is coming from, but I feel like it's somebody who's trying to articulate that a lack of hard lines is necessary in order to hold an energetic line, is what I keep on hearing. And a lack of hard line being necessary in order to hold an energetic line is understanding that the way a line is held is not being too firm on an energetic line. Because when you hold too firmly on a line, no matter what, the line energetically snaps, right? But the modality by which you recognize and identify what is needed, right? What is needed to be called forth within the self. It almost feels to me, and I'd be very interesting because you haven't given me many indications upon it, but I don't know if you saw them doing something or you saw them saying something, but I keep on hearing that the message that was coming through on that has to do with what we effectively call forth within ourselves and the ability of understanding that it's okay for you to be adaptable. It's okay. And the thing about it is I keep on getting, I feel like that energy often had to navigate circumstances or situations by which they were doing what they knew was necessary, but there was a lot of booing around them, right? Which is what I keep on hearing. Like I almost see somebody articulating that says, when you're doing what you know is energetically necessary, be ready not to necessarily hear everybody, right? It's not often, I keep hearing them say, it's not often met with cheers, right? It's not often met in a space of celebration, because when you know what is necessary in a situation, right, it's often the space of navigating others' energetic frustration. But even in the space by which we work through the frustration, we find deeper forms of healing there, right? It allows the ability and the capacity to heal more, specifically and particularly because we are working towards healthy resolution. So I feel like there's something really important about that message that was occurring there in terms of that, or working through something in a way by which I keep wondering, it's okay for you to be energetically adaptable in spaces by which it's necessary. Now, the feminine energy I feel like is connecting with too. I feel like some of that feminine energy, I feel like the feminine energy was coming towards you more to help you with some kind of aura work, is what I'm getting. And a lot of that energy that I'm seeing is I feel like I see somebody who often felt very energetically excluded from something that they felt that they were representative of, right? Like I literally see some type of energy that said, even in the context by which others held them aloft, they never felt more energetically lonely, because the modality by which another person tries to put their aspirations on the self often is indicative, and this is why I keep on seeing them kind of articulating upon aura work, which is we can't help, right? We can't help how we energetically appear. But often, right, often the space by others who can't get past it, that speaks more about another person's than it does about the self, right? Like when you can't help how we energetically appear, right? And another person only gets stuck on our appearance, then that is the source of another person's projection. Because I keep on hearing that is the arrival point to someone that is not thinking deeply, right? Like, and I keep on getting this because they're talking about a lot of that space by which, right? I keep on seeing someone who often, I feel like I see somebody, I'm reading on someone who had a complicated relationship with the way that they looked or the way that they energetically appeared. And that the hard part about it is I keep on seeing, like, when you can't, like, and I feel like in a way they're helping you with that understanding, or something about, I keep on getting a Venus in detriment for you. And the funny part about it is people misunderstand what a Venus in detriment means. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I mean with Venus in detriment. Venus in detriment is when in the modality by which another person can't see past the way that you appear, positive or negative, right? And it's very hard because when another person will show how they themselves, right, energetically project what they desire to see upon someone who has a Venus in detriment to a certain extent, because it's a modality by which, right, the space by which we work through the understanding that our appearance is wonderful, right? The appearance is wonderful, but I keep on getting, our appearance is an entrance, right? Our appearance, I keep on hearing, our appearance is an entrance. It's only the beginning of who we are. And when you meet others that can't see far, right? Don't be upset, because that is the space by which you're being energetically protected, right? They're actually saying that is a form of protection, because it's the energy that says, oh, good, look, like someone who can't see far has shown themselves, when we understand that the way we look is but an entrance, right? And I keep wondering how we hold ourselves is what's energetically important, is what I keep on hearing. Bottom of the deck, on this reading, yeah, we've got here the Raven energy. And the thing about, I mean, and it's interesting too, because I went to pull the bottom of the deck, but I felt called to bring forth an animal oracle card. And I feel like one of the reasons that I was called to pull that forth was because I feel like both of those energies were very deep thinkers, right? Both of those energies were very, very deep thinkers. The hard part about it is I feel like one was working through the concept or the understanding of the energetic depth by which another, like I keep wondering, when one thinks deeply, other people can't necessarily see, right, where that depth is proceeding to. So the ability to understand and articulate upon the depth is often, like, that's where I was kept on getting a lot of those, like a lot of that work in terms of someone articulating upon line, because I'm basically seeing the space by which another person says, right? When another person feels out of their depth, try to help them see better. While for the other energy, I feel like they're saying that often the space by which others never got to see their depths because they stopped at the doorway, because they were like, it was like the energy that did not get the out, like others who prevented themselves from being able to know someone deeper because they didn't understand that the way that we appear is but an entrance. Thank you so much for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list, I have 3 spots available today before the list will be closed. It's 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind, there are 3 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Adam, it's never too late. I mean, so I've got 3 spots on the list right now. If you wanted to get on the list for a dream interpretation, you're absolutely welcome to. Absolutely. Good to see you today, dear. Let me just take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Thank you for that gift. All right, where were we? Excellent. Yep. Yeah. Those are collective ancestrals. And Wild Whimsy, thank you for the follow. Yeah, the work I'm doing. Yeah, they were saying it, absolutely. And here's what's interesting about it. I know you didn't articulate what they were saying to you in the space by which you've energetically connected, but if let the confirmation be your confirmation. I'm glad you didn't, because let your confirmation be if what I articulated feels like it's in alignment to what they were effectively saying. Yeah, exactly. Excellent. Yeah, it is, right? Oh, thank you. See, and I appreciate that. So you chose a raven before, right? So it's saying you have to learn to trust yourself more, right? You're coming into the space of learning to trust your energetic judgment upon things. Absolutely. I know. I love it when we receive confirmation. It's interesting the fact that they gave confirmation and me pulling that. That's why I love that. That's awesome. All right, let's continue right now. Absolutely. The advocacy work I do, but that's what I feel. I'm seeing, like, that's where, like, you see, like, they're like bring them together. It's beautiful. Thank you so much. And sending you so much support on that journey. And please continue to do so. Absolutely. Okay, so Adam, if you're not on the disco, all you have to do is when you send the donation, just include it in the notes wherever you send the donation to. You can just put all the information there. Or if that doesn't work, if you feel if there's a limitation or block there, you can send it to my mail that starts with the letter G. Okay? How you doing today, Donnies? Absolutely. Bear with me. To book a reading? No problem, Mimi. So if you want to book a reading, we've actually got 3 spots left today. All you do is send a donation via my tree that has links in it in my bio. It's 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more for Thank you, Mimi, for getting on the list. We've got 2 more spots today. If anybody else would like to secure a spot on the list. How you doing today? Absolutely. You're welcome, dear. That's exactly. Okay, thank you. So Juliet, this is the important thing. And I like to point out one of the nice things that we often do. And I like sometimes when we're doing guide readings like this, right, we're also looking for confirmation. So if what I articulated was basically what they were saying, like, that's your confirmation. And I would point out the raven is also confirmation potentially around that as well. Thank you so much. That's exactly what they were saying. Yes, I immediately heard raven in my head. That is amazing. You're so welcome, dear. And thank you for allowing me to read for you. Adam, so, if you want to send a gift to have a reading, the equivalent is a baby dragon. I have to be honest, I don't know what the rate of exchange is on a swan. I don't know how much a swan. Maybe there's someone who can help me with that right now. I'm glad to hear you're doing well, dear. Excellent. And thank you guys. Guys, please thank our mod K Megan for all their help today. Sissy, did you get on? All you have to do if you'd like to get on the list is send a donation and you'll be added to the list. It's 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Binks Layo. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I don't read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. All right, the next person we're reading for today is, we've got Natalie. Natalie, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And if anybody else would like to get on the list today, as I mentioned, we've got 2 spots available before the list will be closed. And anyone else who gets on the list after that will be read for tomorrow. Hi, Natalie. How are you doing? And again, I deeply appreciate your patience. If you could let me know if we're doing a general reading or if you have a specific question. Sissy, thank you for getting on the list. We've got 1 more spot available today before the list will be closed. You DM'd it to me. Thank you. Mimi, okay, I'm going to read the list right now for those who are on it. So this is the list that we currently have. The list that we have right now is Natalie, Per, K Megan, Alexandra, Dandy, Heather, Mimi, and Sissy. We've got 1 more. If you have sent a donation and you're on the list and I have not named you, please let me know the initial, just the initial where you sent the donation. I don't need the full name. Please don't post the full name. The apps hate hearing about other apps. They're very jealous. Okay, they're very sensitive about it. So just go ahead and put the initial, and we will find you. Excellent. All right. Did you DM me here on it? If so, I just need a moment. Where are we? Let's see. Right. So just a reminder, it's always a little bit of a challenge when you guys you guys message me from the app while I'm on the app. So just bear with me. It's all right. We can find it though. Just give me a second. All right. Excellent. All right, I've got it here. So we've got, let me just take a moment to read over the comments that came through. So, and just a reminder to anyone who's joining us, we have 1 more spot available today before the list will be closed. I need a moment to read over some of the material that came through before we begin the reading. So I'm going to give you guys, a, I don't like the word icebreaker. I'm going to give you guys a hearth warmer. I don't like icebreaker. I like hearth warmer. I'm going to give you guys a hearth warmer as I read over this. Okay, good. I'm looking for a good one. What are you working to get stronger in right now? Either in any way, shape, or form. Or what are you proud about what you're working towards being stronger in? All right, just bear with me a moment. Yeah, got it. Yep, that first house Scorpio, man. It's a doozy. All right, yeah. I got you. All right. Thank you for this. Thank you so much for the information. Oh my God. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Okay. All right. Before we continue right now, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide card here. We're going to count back from 10. And when we get to 1, I'll reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got this one. All right. Let's get to it. Can I get... Can I get 3 cards, please? And I'm going to pin up Queen here, guys. Make sure to give Queen some love. And one more. Yep. Oh, you got an ancestor that's really insistent. Hold on. Okay. I mean, I gotta stress, I don't know if you've picked up about this. You've got an ancestor that's like doing cartwheels right now in spirit about something. It's and I need to describe this. You know, the one thing I'm seeing here is, and I need to stress. I feel like when I'm basically recognizing, and I keep, and I know that, and here's the thing about it, and I need to point out, a lot of the work that you're here to do, it's turning into an Akashic reading. And I want to describe the thing about it. First house in Scorpio is literally like best friend, worst enemy in relationality to one's own ability to adapt to a situation. You know, like that's a hard part with like Scorpio first house, which is like, I'll make it work. But being like, and like, like the space by which you're able to energetically adapt to circumstances is like an absolute blessing to those around you. But unless you're in a trauma space, right? Because that often is the sound of someone not being taken into consideration, right? Here we are. We're all doing everything we need to do. They'll figure it out. They always do, right? You're so strong. Thank you. I had to be, right? Thank you. I had to be. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I know. I'm very strong. I did not have a choice. I appreciate you recognizing that. And it's hard, right? It's like, it's not, it's like, I'm sure people constantly, you're constantly have energy telling you, like being like, you're so strong. And you being like, yeah, I wish I didn't have to be. Like, yeah, you had a choice in it. Like you had a choice. That's nice. What's that like? What's that like getting to like pick to be strong? What's that like, you know? And here's the thing about it. You're allowed to have feelings about it. Here's the thing I'm going to say to you, and I know that you're going to like want to scream out loud. You're allowed to have things that grate your gears a little bit. You know, you're allowed to have moments by which, and I see it even here, right? Like, and I can see the shape of the trauma that you're healing from, which is saying like I've got all of this, like, you know, like it's giving me a lot of this, like, it's giving me, I would not be surprised if everything was fine in your experience until you started asking a little bit for the thing that you are gladly giving everyone around you, right? What a blessing. Oh, what a blessing a need is, right? Oh, what a blessing a need is, because it allows you to see clearly. I want you to write that down. Oh, what a blessing a need is, because it allows you to see clearly. And I think you know this, right? Because the energy around you, you've probably seen, I wouldn't be surprised if you've seen energy without anything trying to help you in ways that are profound, and energy that always has, like energy that is always so like working into the context of identifying, right, the space by which another person articulates like the weight that they themselves are working through, that is effectively identified and recognized in terms of you being able to understand. And I think that this is your healing probably started the minute you recognized that your adaptability has never been an issue. And the minute that somebody says to you, you should be more adaptable, that is the sound. Look at this. This is the only sound they should hear. Like, look at this, this is the only sound they should hear. The only sound they should hear is the light. What is that? What is that fluttering? Is it wings? Is that wings I hear? No, it's not wings. Those are the footsteps, right? Those are the footsteps of the most blessed thing. It is wings, because the wings they will hear. The only time they'll hear something is the wings that they think they hear will be the sight, the shuffle of your feet as you proceed to walk away from as they're about to lose the best person they've ever come across. And the hard part about it is I would not be surprised if you're very exhausted in hearing energy try to say to you, I didn't appreciate you when I had you. Of course not. Of course not. Right? But that's the thing about it. The recognition in hindsight, and I feel like this is the hardest thing that I feel like I see two different things you have to do right now, right? The recognition that you're going to get a lot of energy coming towards you in hindsight. And like I keep on hearing, good, like it's okay if that bothers you too. You know, it's okay if that bothers you too. Because, and I want you to understand, you are walking to energy that will hold you in present, as a present. I want you to write that down. And here's the hard part about it, especially, right? Especially with that first house in Scorpio, it's not going to require you to adapt to the situation. It's going to be somebody who loves you just the way you are, right? It's going to be the type of energy that knows that you can adapt to anything, and they're not going to ask you to, because they care about you. And it's the space by which they're not going to see, right? They're not going to see that adaptability as fickleness. They're going to see that as the flexibility of someone that is constantly thinking about the best interests of others around them. Sometimes too much, and this is what we got to talk about, sometimes too much at the cost of oneself. Because I just keep on seeing, and this is where we see that you have to do a little bit of that healing. You have to put that work down, right? The same the same exact work, right? The same exact work that was effectively creating the space that you had to survive something is what you have to work to release, right? And it's going to be really difficult, because I see you, right? Your peace is found by what you say, right? Right, is when you start saying, this is my stability, right? Like holding into that center and building into that. And it's not going to be easy, because I literally see a bunch of energy that potentially will articulate upon the fact that they miss the old version of you. Let them miss it. Like, let them miss it. Let them miss it, right? Because if you aren't happy in that old space, and another person says that they miss the unhealed version of you, you know, you have to understand that's literally the sound of the energy that was why you had to change. That's we see this here at the first house placement. And it's funny too, because I was trying to say placement, but instead hit payment, which is the modality of having to go through something by which one changes, and then the modality by which you say that the space by which we change is the space by which we find our joy. And the energy that's for you is not going to be pining away for who you used to be or what they used to have with you. They're going to embrace every part of you that they find, because they're going to find all of it perfect and complete. And that's why I kept on getting, like, this is where I'm getting some kind of, you got some kind of, I've got some kind of ancestor you've got here, and I keep on getting, and the reason they actually were very insistent on having a card pulled, because it feels to me like they couldn't be their authentic self their whole life. I don't know who it is, but it feels like it's an open secret that they were living a lie, is what I keep on seeing. Like, I literally see somebody who's like pointing to you in spirit and going like, they're doing what I did not have the confidence to do. And that's why I see somebody in spirit basically celebrating, because I keep on seeing them pointing you and being like, that one's my champion right there. Thank you so much for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is closed, but you can get on the list for tomorrow and you'll be the first person read for. You'll also have an additional card in your reading. It is 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers, Binks in my Lio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I don't read for across these apps: pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Hey there, Avatar. How you doing today? Not wanting everything being perfect as a Virgo. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about it, right? Like, Virgos are perfect makers. You know this, Heather. Virgos are perfect makers, but the only way the Virgo becomes a perfect maker is if they understand that like, it is when it's like perfect is made, it's not found, right? Like when Virgos come out of the scavenger hunt mode of being like, why can't I find perfect? then things start to get easier. And I know it's hard, right? But continue to do that work, you know? Peace and love to you as well, Sissy. Yeah, learning light work here. Yeah, I know it's hard, right? It's learning light work. It's hard work. You want to learn some light work? Shadow. It's like, oh good, oh goody, oh goody. The list is closed right now, Stella. But if you want to get on tomorrow, you'll be the first person read for. You also have an additional card in the reading. Yes, I can see the fact. I know it's not easy though. You know, like doing that type of work. It's not like you, like, you know, I keep like, you know, the cheering, like the happiness comes in is like the energy and spirit. That's why I feel like you have somebody that was stepping forth in spirit saying, right? Like they were articulating the fact that they're on your side on something, you know? Yeah. Yeah, I get it. And you don't want to be, right? I see that. But I need to point out, like, I also recognize the fact that when things like the energy that knows that you're there understands, right? Like I see you kind of being like, and you have to understand this, right? You can accept an apology at a distance, right? You can care about someone. Doesn't mean they have to come back towards you, you know? I got you, Adam. Thank you for sending the equivalent. I got you on the list. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to laugh, right? I get it. You have to laugh. Oh, I do my best to be here. Absolutely. Oh, thank you, Per. I appreciate that. Mimi, okay, I can help you with that. So typically I've got you. So the readings, I want to say you're probably going to be up in about an hour. If you want to like guess, so I would say like 45 minutes to an hour. Yeah, I understand. And again, like I said, if you're not here, you never miss your reading. If you miss me today, just come back and tell me the date that you were put on the list, and you'll be added right back to the list. So don't stress about it. We're trying to create a stress-free environment here, okay? I know it's volatile energy. You're welcome, Mimi. Absolutely. Yep, I got you, Adam. Thank you, and guys, thank you for helping me confirm. Thank you for helping Adam get on the list. Yeah, the whisper of you leaving. Absolutely cool. I love that gift. I know those are some very cool gifts you were setting, Adam. I was like, this is very creative. Thank you, Per. I appreciate you. Absolutely. Yes, you're so welcome. My needs aren't preferences. Um, oh, that's strange. Okay, can you do me a favor, Adam? Grab me a screen cap of that and I'll see if I can resolve that on my end. I apologize if that's something that you're experiencing, but that's probably something that we can fix. I know you did, but I think that this is what you recognize, Queen. You know, some energy, like when another person wants to like I keep on hearing there's some energy, right? Like that comes into comparison mode and you're probably gone, right? Because I keep on hearing it's not a competition. Yeah. No, no, don't apologize for it, Adam. It's perfectly fine. Yeah, you gave everyone everything. Yeah, you gave everyone everything. Where does it get you? Where does it get you? Absolutely. But I think and I want you to understand this is what I keep on hearing. Don't let that change. Like, don't let that change the shape and nature of your heart. You know? Like just because you observe that doesn't mean that anything you did in those experiences was wrong, but I feel like you're holding yourself more carefully, you know? How are you doing today, official? That's very kind of you to say. You should, where are we? Heather, how you doing? Discernment is key. Absolutely. Yep. Thank you for the help, Nicole. We're going to continue right now. The next person on the list for today is Per. Per, can you let me know if we're doing a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer? And as I mentioned, the list is closed today, but if anybody wants to get on the list for tomorrow, you will be the first person read for. You'll also have priority to be read for before we start the daily collective if you get on the list today. Hi, Per. We got a general on the disco. Love it. Before we continue right now, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide card here. We'll count back from 10. And when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the hair. We'll do that again after the next reading. All right. And just a reminder, if you have information that you feel is relevant for the purposes of our read, you can include it in the notes when you send the donation. You can also post it in our subscriber-only disco channel in the appropriate channels. Oh, sorry, I just saw it. I was like, oh, all right, hold on a minute. There's a picture. Okay, so where are we? Outside tea, pet reading. On request from friend, pet reading on their pet. Yes, absolutely. General and their connection on whatever you receive. Oh, they're 7 months old. Oh, little baby. I got you. All right, can I get... Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. So it's really interesting because I'm getting here. I need to I need to work through something that I'm seeing in relationality to this energy. And it's interesting because they've got like they're showing me this like very, very, very long title is what I'm getting. Like I literally have some kind of energy that's articulating upon their name, and it's like it is like a very long run. It's a very long, like it's very, very like long. And the reason I keep on getting this is and there's a couple of things that I'm still trying to work out here, because I'm getting here that this is an energy that is connected to this person, but it was a short-lived experience, which says, and I've read for energy like this before. So the best way I can describe what I'm seeing here is that, how do I describe this best? There's some energy that I read into that is warrior energy. And the best way I can describe warrior energy is that there's some warrior energy that works dimensionally, that says that there's it's interesting because if they're energetically needed or called, they have to depart. It's the best way I can describe it. Like it's like because there's something that requires their full attention. So I'm getting here, and this is why this energy is giving me this very, very long name, is because they're basically trying to articulate to me that there was a connection towards some kind of pet connection in childhood, by which I keep on hearing something that was energetically tragic, right? And nobody knew what was going on with it, because I literally see them articulating upon something that was there one minute and the next minute it was not, right? Like, and even in the space by which, like, it was so sudden that, like, I keep on getting that, like, I feel like even see a situation by which another person, like, there was it was very distressing to the energy around it, specifically because it felt like like I literally see somebody trying to go towards a professional, and them saying to them, like, sometimes this happens. But I keep on seeing that the space by which I keep on, it's interesting too, because they're almost articulating the fact that they're trying to say they didn't mean to cause distress at that time, even though they recognize or identify the space by which they themselves came back towards them. So I would be very conscientious about whether this is an energy, this is someone who had a childhood pet that had a remarkably short lifespan, or something that felt like an early, like the space by which they did not that was some kind of like strain, like even the space by which others said, like the space by which nobody really understood what happened there. They're giving me a lot of indications upon that. So I feel like it's interesting because I see that this energy feels like they're coming back to them because they're ready, like they're in the space by which whatever they were working through, right, has been worked through, and now they've got their full attention, is what I keep on getting. Right? They're going, now you've got my full attention. So it's interesting because I'm basically identifying, right? I'm identifying the space by which the energy itself, right? I wouldn't be surprised if the energy is very young, but feels very mature or very old, because I keep on seeing that there's something about themselves that feel like I would be very interested if this energy feels very familiar to the person that has them or is holding them, because I just keep on hearing the space by which another person is identifying striking similarities but I keep on seeing, like, the reassurance I keep on getting on that is it's not going to happen again, is all I keep on hearing, right? And I keep on seeing the reason that it's not going to happen again is specifically because, I just keep on hearing specifically because the energy itself is now, like, I feel like whatever that was that they had to energetically work through has been worked through. And that's why I see them almost coming, they're coming into something more deeply invested than they did the first time. So I would be very curious to ask your friend in relationality to this, if there's some kind of experience either connected to themselves or to someone around them, like some type of, I keep wondering, some type of pet energy that was very close to them, specifically because I see the fact that they're articulate, like there's an articulation point between that energy and this one. Bottom of the deck on this reading. Yeah, you see, here's that, like the eight of wands in its reversal. You know, what's interesting that I'm seeing here, did they move recently? Is there some kind of move that I see? Because I just keep on seeing the fact that, like, I'm not sure why, but there's some kind of, like, someone not looking for something, and then somebody, like, I keep wondering, someone not looking for something and something just like falling into their lap is what I'm getting. Or if there's some kind of connection in terms of another person who felt, right? I keep on hearing some kind of connection to this energy in terms of someone who did not recognize the full responsibility of what would be necessary in order to navigate it, because I keep on getting that is that's an analogy for what they were experiencing the first time they were here, which is like, is what I keep on getting. Like the space by which another person says, I thought I could handle, like the space by which somebody goes, I thought I could handle, like somebody going, I thought I could handle the responsibility and they were wrong, is what I keep on seeing is connected to how that energy felt when they were when they were here the first time, is what I keep on seeing. It's like the externalized journey that is external or situational to it, that is almost articulating upon, like it feels like their arrival is the explanation, in terms of, is the apology as to what happened the last time they had to energetically depart, if that makes sense. And that's why I saw the fact that there was an energy connected to this with a very long title, because it's saying it's a long story. It's what I keep on guessing. There's a lot to kind of explain. And it's like, I keep on seeing them say it's very hard to explain it, because I feel like there's some kind of potential celestial connection to this energy that would help to understand, like the only way you could explain is if you understood celestially, is what I keep on getting, which is like that has a little bit to do with everything I'm seeing in relationality to the connection of them. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, dear. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is closed today, but if you want to get on the list for tomorrow, you'll be the first person read for. You'll also have an additional card in your reading. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Absolutely. And just reading over. I know, right? Very cute. Everybody in the disco gets the beautiful, gets to see the absolutely adorable energy. Yep. You're so welcome, Heather. Sending you so much support on that journey. Thank you for that help, Nicole, on the gifts. Oh, that's wild, Nicole, but it's interesting that you recognize that. Going to look. Yep. Zooming into the disco to see the picture. Oh, thank you for the pup avatar. Appreciate you. This is the same pup being scared of me. Oh, wild. They're the best. I had to say goodbye. Oh, sweet heart, sending you so much support on that journey. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting too. I mean, like, I always think it's interesting because when I read, anytime I read for pets, like they always just laugh. They're like, they think they picked me. Like that's what they always think. They think like this person here, they think they picked me. It's very funny. Like they think it's hilarious. Yeah, I know. Oh, thank you guys for supporting each other in the comments. Oh, I'm very glad to hear that, Queen. They are amazing healers. Yeah, so I would say I feel like they were trying to bring attention, they were articulating specifically. Okay, I'm just going to give you the shape of what I was seeing. Okay, they were showing me an experience by which there was an animal companion connected to them in early childhood, and something just happened. And I keep on seeing it felt like it was like a shocking moment in terms of being like nobody really understanding or something completely unexpected. But the modality, like they keep on saying the fact that they had something that was requiring their attention, and they always had the intention of coming back towards them, which is where I see this energy connected to, is what I keep on getting. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. Yeah, that's what I'm gathering, in their childhood and couldn't stay long. Yeah, I'll definitely ask them. Their son moved out at the same time that they came in. Okay, interesting. Thank you for confirming what I was seeing there about the move. Long story. I love those the most. You're so welcome, Per. Excellent. All right, let's continue right now. The next person on the list for today is Kay. Kay, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you would like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And as I mentioned, the list is closed today, but if you would like to get on the list for tomorrow, you will be the first person read for. You'll also have an additional card, and you'll also have priority, which means you'll be read for before we begin the daily collective. Excellent. You sent in general questions on the disco. Appreciate you. Let me just pull it up. Where are we? Got it. Okay. I love it. I love it when somebody says outside tea but censor it, which is like outside tea but but maybe make it inside tea. Like distill the tea, please. Distill the tea. Distill the tea before serving the tea. I got it. I'm on it. Okay. I got you. All right. So we've got inside outside tea. Okay. We've got inside outside tea. So if you're in the disco, you can have inside tea. If you're not in the disco, you're gonna get some distilled tea. Okay. Before we continue right now, let's warm up the intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide card here. We're gonna count back from 10, and when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the eagle. Thank you. We'll do that again after the next read. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, what's going on? Does this person work out? All right, hold on. Oh, jeez. Oh, hold on a minute. Sorry. Oh, Lord. Oh, my goodness. Yep. Hold on a minute. Okay, where are we? All right, but this is going to take a minute, okay? It's going to take a minute. So before we continue right now, I'm going to give you guys a hearth warmer. So, What are you doing right now to turn a bad habit into a good one? All right. Oh boy. Mm. Mm. Oh boy. Ah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Right before the full moon too? Oh Lord. Okay, hold on. You know what? I'm making I feel like I'm keeping this most of this tea is inside. I'm making, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's inside tea. Apologies to anybody who's not in the disco, but this is inside tea today. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, okay, I got it. Mm-hmm. All right. Just bear with me a minute. Okay. All right. Can I get, let's see. Can I get 4 cards, please? Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, we'll keep that one up too. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna tell you, I wanna I literally, okay, so the one thing I want to articulate is I don't see, I have to stress, I don't see any malintent in anything that I'm identifying here. That's the first thing I want to articulate. But I do want to give you clarification in relationality to what I see. And I want to point this out, all right, and this is really important to recognize. Um, the shape by which we are good friends to each other is that we don't put one another in uncomfortable situations. Okay? Right? The moment that I ask you, right? If I put you in an uncomfortable situation, there better be a very good reason, right? There better be a very good reason why I put you in an uncomfortable position. right? Because the space by which we navigate discomfort helps us to know everything we need to know in relationality to what another's intentions are. And I literally see somebody that was trying to do the work of treading energetically carefully, which is the modality by which someone, right? Somebody articulated something that should not have been a big deal, right? Should not have been a big deal. And the fact that another person got all prickly about it, right? And then gave them a directive, right? Like the space by which instead of being like in the space by one would, right? God gave them an effective directive. I already see the fact that it put someone on high alert, that something strange might be occurring there, right? Because like I keep on saying, why would somebody say like I was never like that's why I had to get this. That's why I said that's why. Did you see why I had to pull this? I pulled this out before I even started, right? It's that energy that goes like I was never here, right? I was never here, like that, right? So I see somebody who the moment, right? The moment that they said those words, they were immediately trying to assess the situation. I feel like I see somebody who's been in assessment mode ever since that moment to try to understand if what they were saying was out of fear, like clearly out of fear, but trying to understand if the fear was coming from inside the house or outside the house, right? Clearly there's fear there, right? And I feel like the space by which you articulate, like the space by which they articulated to you what was occurring was them having made an assessment of the situation, right? The modality by which another person tried to tell someone to be wary, right? Or on high alert, right? And the modality by which they realized or recognized the space by which, right? The space by which, like the observation of you not being like what they expected, being like, tell me everything, but being irate because, right? It's a weird thing to do. It's a weird thing to ask someone. And it creates a weird situation, not only for you, but for them, right? I feel like that them articulating that, right? I feel in a way I see somebody that was trying to articulate it almost by means of apology, right? And I can almost see somebody. I feel like the position by which another person's in, right? Like I can almost see them biting their tongue, like they're straight up biting their tongue because I can see them almost trying to articulate to you to say, at that moment, I realized that there was only one of you, right? One of you must be scary, right? Like that's what I literally see someone saying in this reading, right? In the moment by which another person said, right? I'm not here, right? At that moment, they realized that like one of you is scary, right? Like one of you is scary, right? And the modality by which, like they articulated to you that's what they said to you, that was them telling you that they'd finished their assessment and they determined who the scary one was, right? Because that's a weird request to make. It's a weird request that you would only make. And here's the thing about it, right? When you make that request, the request creates an inquest. And why does the request create an inquest? Because the modality by which another person says, right? Oh, like don't let them know I'm here. Often it's a projection, right? It's a projection of the fact that they're creating fear of you, right? Like in the moment by which they say, don't tell them I'm here, right? Creates the space by which they create the false premise that there's something about you that is energetically scary, right? But the modality by which the person has gotten to know you and the space by which, even in the space by which they expressed it, and you were irate, was a fortification of them saying that they had assessed the situation and they determined who the scary one was, because it's disturbing to put that it's disturbing. It puts someone in a really uncomfortable position. And it's even worse to do if it's a recognition that there's nothing to energetically worry about in the context of articulating it. So I keep on seeing that is, I feel like in a way, I almost see an energy that is effectively, like I see somebody that almost like, I feel like it's not that they can explain that, but I almost feel like wouldn't be surprised if there was something about the space of them telling you that was meant to be its own form of apology. Because I can almost see someone saying, trying to assess the situation to figure out what that was all about. And them articulating that to you is to tell you that they had assessed the situation and it was unnecessary, right? Bottom of the deck on this reading. Yeah, right? Like it's not, here's the thing about it, right? The space by which, that's a really messed up thing to do, right? It's a really messed up position to put someone in, right? Because it puts somebody on high alert, right? It makes somebody have to be in a space by which they can't tell, right? They can't tell the energetic intentions in relationality. And I almost see somebody who's like really upset about it, you know, because I see somebody, right? Like I see somebody who wants to have an energetically authentic connection to you, but you can't have an authentic connection when you've got this, like, I keep on hearing like this strange person in the corner going, don't tell, like, you know, like they're like, it's like, and I keep on seeing them basically say, like, I feel like there was the observation of them saying that they did not want to be culpable in that person being strangely secretive, right? And I feel like what's hard about that is, I need to point this out, and just to give you the space, I see somebody that wasn't keeping it from you because there wasn't, that's what I mean, no nefarious intention, right? Them keeping it from you was them treading carefully, which was trying to identify and articulate, right? Trying to identify and articulate where the source of the weirdness was coming from, right? Like that was them, like I keep on seeing, it wasn't them trying to be nefarious. It was them like activating their weird, there was like, that was their weird detector, right? And them like them articulating it to you as them being like, I've finished my assessment. I have figured out the weird energy. And that's why it's like, I can see why you'd be upset, but this is also why I keep on seeing upset but understanding why there may have been a period of time by which another person did not fully articulate is what I keep on seeing. Thank you so much for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be, and I feel like in that moment was them realizing everything that they were projecting upon you was what they themselves were doing, right? Like I feel like that's what they were trying to say to you. Right? It's like I feel like that was them, like that was that moment. Thank you so much for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is closed today, but you can get on the list for tomorrow and you will be the first person read for. You also have priority, which means you'll be read for before we start the daily collective. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. You're so welcome, Kay. Hold on a minute. You're so welcome, Per. Kay's definitely here. I can see why you said that. I'm happy with the up. I understand. Running to the place. The disco is the place to be today. Let me tell you. The disco. It's all the tea. There's puppies and there's tea. Absolutely. I love extra. I'm happy. Yep. Hmm. Well, and I felt like, honestly, I felt like in the space by which I was reading for it, the necessary tea was going to express itself. Yeah, right after the full moon peak. I just came back. I love when everybody's like, this is how I always picture whenever somebody comes back from the disco, they're like, yep, absolutely. The tea is swallowed. Everyone in the disco gets the tea. You're so welcome, dear, and sending you support on that journey. Absolutely. That it's very interesting. Yeah, though there's no way by which it wasn't weird. Yeah, exactly. And that was basically reading about, like, I feel like that, like, it seems like almost someone coming towards you sheepishly, you know? Yeah. Not the cloak. Yeah. Well, they at least would like it. Authentic connection. Exactly. Exactly. Yep. And so you understand, right? I feel like it's them. I feel like it was some kind of apology being like, can you understand, like, understand the position I was put in at that moment? Yeah. Hmm. um, in terms of them, it's interesting. The space by which, like, all of that I was seeing was somebody, like, I literally see somebody that has been articulating to others, being like, what do I like I feel like it's almost somebody who's been trying to build up to talk to you about it, right? But worrying, I feel like the space by which they were potentially worried about your volatility to them, I feel like they experienced immediate relief when they recognized the fact that it wasn't directed at them. But again, I feel like it further amplified their own energetic confidence in relationality to being able to understand what the weirdness was all about. Yeah. No, I feel like I see somebody being like, just tell them. You know what I mean? Like, I almost see somebody trying to say to them, like, there's a little bit of that, like I feel like I see somebody who's been trying to encourage them to just articulate it to you, because I keep on hearing, like, they're like working through the observation of you being able to understand something. Purr, become a super band to enter our magical disco space. You guys do such a much better job of promoting me than I do. Yeah, they were sheepish when they said it. I know, I can see, like, I see somebody, right? I keep on hearing, like, it feels like somebody trying to beg forgiveness. But I feel like it was somebody trying to do the best thing possible, you know? Absolutely. Oh, it skipped? If it skipped, let me just check. Mm-hmm. Hold on a minute. No, they do seem like a nice person. I agree, Minnie. Yeah, I think that this is them trying. I feel like this is them trying to clear the air to build a deeper connection to you too. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for having that reading, dear. Excellent. All right, we're going to continue right now. If I missed any comments, feel free to let me know, or feel free to pin them. The next person, yeah, I know you were never mad at them, but you, because you understand, right? Like that, I feel like even that was them, like, like, I feel like that was a healing moment. All right, we're going to continue right now. The next person on the list is Alexandra. Alexandra, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading, or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. No, I think somebody, I feel like I see somebody who is expecting, like, I feel like I see somebody saying you have every reason to be upset, you know? Oh, was there a question that I missed? Um, I didn't see, like, the thing about it, um, it's weird because I know, I did not, I need to stress this because, um, I, there's something about that I will share in private with you. That's why their cards weren't that I see. That's why their cards weren't out. Just message me, and I'll give you some insight there. Okay? Because, yeah, they like those cards weren't showing themselves for a reason. All right, we're going to continue right now. The next person on the list for today is Alexandra. Alex, hold on. I'm going to, do I have a, yeah. Hold on. I'm just going to make a note. Yep. Okay. Oh, you have a beautiful evening, and thank you so much for all of your help today, Kay. Guys, please thank Armand Kamek for all their help today. The next person on the list for today, did you want your one card before you step away? Hi there, Mimi. I'm happy to read the list. So the list we have right now is Alexandra, Dandy, Heather, Mimi, Sissy, and Adam. Excellent. Highest priority, please. I feel like the message coming through is in relationality to how highly protected you are. You know, there's like a lot of energy right now that it feels very protective of you, is what I keep on seeing. Yeah, especially with the Ace of Swords, you know. And I keep on, like, that's what I mean. I feel like I need to point out, I feel like this is something that was been talked around about. Like, I want to point out, and I need to stress this. Sometimes like, I know it sounds weird, but sometimes energy talks around us for our benefit, is what I keep on seeing. And I know that might sound a little odd, but when I mean that, it's not the space by which somebody was talking about you. It was someone talking around you, because I feel like I see the conversation in terms of trying to not want to energetically upset you, if that makes sense, right? Thank you so much for having that reading with me and sending you so much support on Animal Spirit Guide on that reading. Confirmation with the seal, right? Right? It's like, it says to me, like, there's a lot of, like, like that says, like, sometimes we care about each other, being like, that's not, like, that's what I see was the situation there. You're welcome, dear. All right, we're going to continue right now. The next person on the list for today is Alexandra. Alexandra, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And if anybody else would like to get on the list today, the list is closed, but you can get on the list tomorrow and you'll be the first person read for. We read here highest priority messages from spirit, life path, mediumship, dream interpretation, angelic guidance, animal spirit guide readings, pet readings, akashic, mind, body, spirit, and love. If you have information that you feel is relevant for the purposes of our read, you can include it in the notes when you send the donation. You can also post it in our subscriber-only Disco channel in the appropriate channels. Have a beautiful day, Kay. I got you, dear. All right. Yeah. I need to read over this, so I'm going to give you guys a heart warmer. How are you utilizing this energy to turn frustration into focus? Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Got you. All right. Okay, can I get 4 cards, please? So I just want to see, does this feels like a guide reading, or are you looking for advisement from guides? I'm just trying to get clarity and relationality to what I'm seeing here. Mm-hmm. Thank you for the help, Alexandra. I appreciate you. And before we continue right now, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the cat. Thank you for participating. We'll do that again after the next reading. Okay. Okay, 4 cards, please. So I want to be clear in terms of me reading upon this. You're referring towards and like you're referring to a situation in the terrestrial or in the spiritual right now, in relationality to what you're identifying there. Because I guess the thing I'm trying to understand is this something that you were seeing? Is this something that you were seeing in a vision, and that you need clarification upon? Is this, I keep on getting, is this a vision or is this a decision? Is what I keep on seeing, which I'm trying to get clarification on further. Might be the reading. I understand. I understand. Okay. Got it. Four cards. Wow. That's fascinating. So the first thing I want to state before we get into this reading is, and I'm going to pin up Alexandra here. No, I understand completely. And that's why I was trying to get clarification. So the first thing I want to be clear upon is that we never utilize the tarot to make our decisions for us. So that's why I was specifically asking in relationality to whether this was a vision or a decision, because in the modality of this being a decision, we're not going to be looking at the cards to determine like what your energetic choice should be in relationality to how you, like what you do, but rather to, and that's what I was trying to assess in terms of what you are asking for in the space of the reading, because I feel like what I was seeing here is insight. Like you're basically trying to connect to the guides in relationality to working through some of the things that are happening in the actual and their own energetic opinions upon it. It's interesting because, you know, and I want to talk specifically, like the space by which I see, and you know, your two guides are they're very, very energetically distinct here, right? Like I've got the two guides here, and they're very energetically distinct. And you know, I feel like it's interesting because and I want to say this too, it's like I feel like having a reading towards the guides, I wouldn't be surprised right now if your guides are energetically quiet to a certain extent, because I feel like this is a lot of the work that your guides are doing in terms of articulating the fact that they are there, right? That they are effectively, their connection to you is helping you find confidence in your decisions, right? Like that's what's so interesting about it is I've got two guides that effectively work with you specifically because they're helping you feel confident in terms of making energetic decisions. And I feel like, you know, there's something important there that I see as well. And it's interesting that I utilize the word, it's interesting that I articulate upon on I articulate upon what feels energetically healthy, which is the space by which another person identifies or articulates to us. Right, I keep on seeing like the work that we identify or articulate in relationality towards the manifestation goal. Make sure that you're having conversations in terms of making sure that those manifestation goals are mutually aligned, is what I keep on seeing. So that is saying that I feel like the healthy space that you will find yourself in is one that allows the ability to ask questions, is all I keep on getting. Like that is what I am identifying is like, I feel like that's what's interesting because the guides, like every time I look to the guides right now, I basically just see a big question mark. And the reason I keep on seeing question mark is understanding that the space by which we are energetically healthy is the space by which we articulate and answer questions with a sense of easement, right? And that easement that we effectively bring to things is the identification point in terms of us being able to move towards things with confidence, right? And I feel like there's something about that that's energetically important because I feel like you yourself, I feel like I see a situation by which you yourself have moved away from things that are not in alignment to you because you asked energetic questions. And I keep on hearing like the guides are articulating upon the fact that questions are beautiful. Questions are healing. That questions are the space by which we recognize, and I keep on seeing the space by which we love something is the space by which we savor questions because it's the space by which we feel the delight in terms of answering in relationality to what it is that we ourselves are moving towards, in relationality towards exploration. So it's interesting, and this is specifically, it's funny, it's interesting too, because I'm reading upon these two guides and they feel very unified upon that, which is basically saying allow the questions to guide you, right? Allow the questions, because I feel like this is you. Remember how I said that the guides are trying to build your confidence? I feel like I just keep on seeing in your own life path, right? A lot of unhealthy, like a lot of spaces that you effectively moved away from, and the space by which another person articulated to you, right? The fact that you asked too many questions to be there. I keep on hearing questions are always welcome in safe spaces, right? The welcoming force of a question is always met like a sanctuary, like a sanctuary space is the space by which one asks questions, and the immediacy and the delight by which another person answers it tells us everything we need to know about the energetic space by which they themselves hold us, because it builds into our own sense of trust and confidence. So allow, like, I feel like I just keep on seeing, it's funny because I actually have the vision of you kind of like hugging a question mark. And the reason the guides are showing me that is basically saying adore, right? Adore your curiosity, right? Adore your, and it's saying adore your curiosity, adore your questions, because I keep on seeing the space by which the curiosity forms an energetic door, but the space by which we ask a question and we receive an answer allows us to be able to identify the confidence by which we're able to energetically approach things. Bottom of the deck on this reading. Yep, there it is, right? If there is a door, I just keep on hearing, if there is a door that closes before you because you ask a question, then that is not a door by which one should explore. The modality by which, like the space, I just keep on hearing this, a door that shuts before you in the space of a question is not a door that you should explore, because it's a modality that allows the context of understanding that when we care about each other's well-being, we always hold we adore each other's questions, because we seek, right? We seek to find the energetic confidence that we need. So I keep on getting that, let that be your guidance point as you continue forward in relationality to where you're going or what you're energetically exploring. Because I keep on hearing a healthy door adores a question. Is what I keep on hearing. A healthy door adores a question, which says when they receive the question, they want to adorn it even more, right? It's the space by which there's an eagerness to energetically answer it. Thank you so much for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is closed today, but you can get on the list. You can get on the list for tomorrow, and you will have an additional card in your reading. It is 3 cards for a donation. I mean, you'll have an additional card in your reading. You'll be the first person. You'll have priority before we get started on the daily collective read. It is 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers. Binks in my Lio. Please keep in mind there are 3 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy, medical, and legal. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Excellent. Hi there, dear. You're so welcome, Mimi. Mimi, so the disco is for super fans, because so if you would like to have access to the disco, all you need to do is become a paid subscriber, and that will, then once you do so, just send me a disco gift and I'll be happy to send you an invitation to the disco. Thank you for the help on that, Alexandra, as well. Thank you as well, Avatar. Thank you for the help, Per. And so if we have more in-depth context for our reading. Okay, so if you have information that you want to share for the purposes of our read, you can either include it in the notes where you send the donation, or if you need more room for that, you can email me directly at the mail that starts with a G. You're so welcome, dear. Got it. It felt surreal. Understand. And thank you, Shiley, for those roses. Hold on a minute, Per. Where are you? Where'd you go? Let's see here. And just a reminder to anyone joining us today, if you also want to get on the list for tomorrow, you can do so via my tree that has Binks in it in my bio. Excellent. Asking questions is my favorite hobby. Don't stop asking them, Alexandra. Beautifully stated. Very interesting. I'll have to reflect on that. Absolutely. No, but that's what I keep on seeing too, right? Like, and this is what I see that you're energetically healing. Like it's interesting that you brought up that cat energy, which is to say, like, I feel like I just keep on hearing your questions are blessed, right? Like your questions, like if there's any modality by which your questions move you away from something, I just kept on hearing I kept on hearing the same message from your guides saying your questions are blessed, which means that somebody who has their best interest towards you will always be energetically eager to answer them, right? Rather than someone that articulates, like I feel like they were just showing me a lot of those experiences in the past by which I like the space by which another person like tries to punish you for asking a question is like the shape of a lot of the trauma that you carry. But remember that healthy spaces always, like I just keep on getting healthy spaces always want to always want to meet our questions with nourishment is what I kept on seeing. Absolutely. Your questions are nourishing. Oh, you did, Nikki, but you can get on the list for tomorrow and you'll be the next person read for. The list is closed right now, Lisa. Yep, absolutely. Excellent. Okay, so those who are interested in one cards, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 more reads to do before we get started on one cards. So we should be starting in about 50 minutes. So the next person we're reading for today is Dandy. Dandy, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you would like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And if anybody else, as I mentioned, would like to get on the list is closed today, but you can get on the list tomorrow and you'll be the first person read for. How you doing today, dear? Good to see you. Can you let me know if we're doing a general reading or if you have a specific question? And for those that are interested, we read here highest priority messages from spirit, life path, mediumship, dream interpretation, angelic guidance, animal spirit guide readings, pet readings, akashic, mind, body, spirit, and aura and love. If you have information that you think is necessary for the purposes of our read, you can include it in the notes when you send the donation. You can also post it in our subscriber-only Disco channel in the appropriate channels. Excellent. Oh, you sent it? Thank you for letting me know. I'll go pull it up now. All right. Dandy, can you give me the name? Oh, wait, I think I see it. Can you give me if you don't want to give your full name, just the first initial of your name so I can make sure that I'm reading the correct message? Thank you, dear. Okay, I just need a moment. Oh, congratulations. Okay, got you. Yeah. No, I can feel it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, give me a minute. Mm-hmm. It's interesting because like I feel like what's happening is it feels like a lot of big deal energy, you know? But it's like it's not you. Like it's always wild when I do a reading like this because I mean, well, first and foremost, hold on, I'm jumping ahead of myself. But that's what I mean. Actually, this is important because I feel like this is a part of the reading. Before we continue right now, let's do the intuition check because I think that this is important. Yeah, I'm going to count back from 10. When we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got that is exactly what I was anticipating. Okay. Um, and are you comfortable with, is this inside tea or outside tea? Whatever you're comfortable with. I can share. Okay, great. So I'm getting, okay, the reading is the individual is getting married in 5 months, and their partner and them have been navigating so much work together, clearing, lingering, or stagnant energy from the past to create space for the new. We're getting outside, unsolicited advice from all directions while trying to navigate our partnership and have good boundaries to protect our peace. And I'd love an energetic reading for us on anything we need to help us navigate this wild ride and better our union. I'd love to have if any of the guides pop through for us. And I think that the hard part about this is like I feel like I see you and another person who couldn't be more nonplussed about something. And I want to say like nonplussed in the best way possible is what I keep on seeing, because I feel like I literally see a situation by which it's not even like I almost see it like you and another person. Like I keep on hearing the word formality, right? And the thing about it is like I feel like the hard part about it, because like as soon as I started reading for you, right, I felt like this massive wave of anxiety. But like the anxiety isn't your anxiety, right? Um, and I want to describe this. Um, like the space by which, and it's hard to explain, but like the space by which um, we feel we need to make, like I keep on seeing like a big, like I feel like you and another person understand that. um, I just keep on hearing not a big fuss. But the thing is, there's a lot of energy around you that feels like they want to be fussy about something, if that makes sense. Or the space by which another person, like the space by which another person like gets like very, very hyper fixated or focused on details that don't feel right. They don't feel that are like they're not that, like it's not something that feels like it's as important for you. um Understand, right, let that kind of convey to you. And I think it's sometimes hard when I see energy like this. um the shape by which others often feel um the desire to effectively impress, or the space of feeling that. I feel like you're in the process of healing that. And I think what's hard about it is I feel like I've got some kind of energy of formality around you, right? And the hard part with energy of formality around us is that formality often feels, right? And I often pick this up in relationality to older energy, right? Formality almost often feels like the desire, like the space to build into, the space by which we build into energetic formality is often the space by which we ourselves, like the quality of something is based upon the formality of it. And I keep on seeing that I feel like the thing that you have to make sure that you impress to another is that you don't want to lose sight on what brought you together, is what I keep on hearing. And I feel like you should write that down. Not wanting to lose sight on what brought you together, which is the identification point of there's nothing, and I feel like this is what I keep on seeing. And I think that this is, you and another person understand this, right? There's nothing sillier than getting into a fight about something that's supposed to bring you together, right? But the moment, the minute, I keep wondering, the minute that it feels, right? Like the minute that it feels like it's creating friction, then it's already doing the opposite of what it's supposed to accomplish. So I think that that's really important because I see somebody, like I feel like I see you and you both, you and them, navigating some energy that keeps on wanting, like I keep on hearing somebody who keeps on trying to elevate the experience, right? Or somebody who's trying to like I keep on hearing like somebody trying to make it fancier is what I keep on like, you know what I mean? Like there's like, this is like the two forces of fancy energy, like on both sides, right? That are like, that are very much you know, and I like to point this out. Um, like I feel like there's energy around you that's healing in the process of you forcing. I don't know, I keep hearing something being forced to be homespun, or something that you always say to another person, like this is, no, that we don't need that. That's extraneous. That's extra, right? We don't need that. We don't need that extra is what I keep on getting. So I feel like there's something about that you should make sure to communicate, because I keep on seeing that the hard part about it is that, and I know it's going to sound a little bit weird, but I think that there's some kind of ancestral healing that's happening in the space of this energetic union. And I keep on getting the ancestral healing that's happening in the space of this union is you having, and I feel like it's interesting because I almost see you going back to your roots on something, you know? Like I see you kind of going back to your roots in relationality, trying to like say to someone, like, this is what it's supposed to, like, this is what it's about, right? Like, this is the important part, right? I keep on hearing like not the I keep on hearing like not the display of love, but the communication of like what it means to each other. Bottom of the deck on this reading, yeah, particularly with this Chariot, like particularly with the Chariot in its reversal. The thing I like to identify with a Chariot in its reversal is I often see, like, sometimes there's something beautiful. There's something beautiful about offering another person a perspective, but sometimes it's the space by which you have to help them get there is the modality by which you articulate. I feel like it's the space by which you articulate to another in terms of saying, right? Like helping, I keep on hearing, helping them prepare for what they might not expect is what I keep on seeing, right? Which is the space by which, like, I keep on seeing you having to say to someone, like, I almost feel like it's almost like some inner child healing in terms of having to hold someone's hand and being like, I care about you, but we're not doing that. I see you saying to somebody like, I care about you deeply. I care about you deeply. I do. I'm going to say that before I say we're not doing that. Which is you know what I mean? Like that is like and I want to like, I feel like that is like the space by which you like identifying that, right? You can say that with love, right? You can say that with love. You can say that. I keep on saying you can hold somebody as you recognize that, because I feel like that's you helping them understand the space by which, like, that's you saying, like, this is what, like, this is what my, this is, and help them see your vision. Be like, this is what I envision that day, right? And let that kind of fortify you. And I feel like as long as you and them have a fortified vision, you might have to like you might have to have a little bit of friction, but it's, I keep on seeing it's going to be, it's going to be absolutely lovely. Thank you so much for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is closed today, but you can get on the list for tomorrow. You'll be the first person read for. You also have priority, which means you'll be read for before we start the collective. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. We're also at 19.2K over on the Place on the Clock app. When we get to 50K, I will be gifting a reading back to the collective, so make sure you're tapping that screen, and we will get to 50K in no time. No problem. You haven't missed anything, dear. Heather, you aren't called yet. Actually, you're next. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Excellent. And I need to point out, right? The hard part, did you see how I kept on trying to jump ahead into the reading? So energy that's presuming something or feeling like they're trying to do something, and you having to say to them like I appreciate the help, but like is what I keep on seeing. Fill their hands with things. Fill their hands with things, right? If somebody wants to do something, be like, this is what you can do instead, right? Yeah. This whole experience is exposing a lot of trauma, but that's why you saw, like, you're healing it collectively. Yes, this is that. Yeah, I can see this. Like, it's the it's the investiture, right? I get it. But I keep give if their hands are free, fill them with things, right? Say like, this is how I would like you to help, right? Absolutely. No, you haven't missed. Nobody's missed anything. So the list I have right now is Heather, Mimi, Sissy, and Adam. Excellent. Well done. You see, perfect. Exactly. All right, we're going to continue right now. The next person on the list for today is Heather. Heather, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. Then while we wait for Heather's question, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide card here. We're going to count back from 10, and when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the cat. Thank you. We'll do that again after the next reading. All right. We're doing a general for Heather. I'm going to pin Heather up here. Guys, make sure to give Heather some love. This card came flying out of the deck. Like, I wasn't even going to pull, and this is out. So let's just get to it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is, there's something really important. There's something really important that happens in this space. Like, I need to say this. You being your authentic self doesn't hurt anybody. I just need to stress this. And I need to point this. I feel like I need to say this. Like, I feel like you need to write that down. Right? You being your authentic self doesn't hurt anybody. And if somebody tries to articulate to you that you being your authentic self, right, makes it harder for them, let them miss that. Let them miss you. Let them miss you with that information. Let them miss you with that information. Because that is literally the sound of someone saying, I'm not feeling inclined to advocate for you. That's all it is. That's all it means, right? If you being your authentic self does not hurt anybody, and then somebody tries to articulate to you the fact that something is harder for them, you can do them a favor and let them miss you with it. Because what they're really saying, and this is the thing you have to read into, is them saying, it's really hard for me to advocate for you, right? Like that is the shape. Like all you just saw was the shape of another person's cowardice, right? And I got to tell you, this is why we do the work to heal our fear, because our fear moves us into dark places in the space by which we don't want to make others uncomfortable, right? Like that's all there is to it. It's the space by which we recognize or identify that the uncomfortability, right? The uncomfortability that we create for one another is amplified and articulated specifically and particularly in relationality to, right, the identification point of making things, I keep on seeing, right, the space by which we, as long as you are being considerate of another, right, your compassion is a gift. Your compassion is a gift. And I need to point out, like, the only thing that's hard, and especially if someone's an empath and they have a lot of compassion, is recognizing, right? Don't let another person's fear of them stop you from being your authentic self. Because I keep on getting this. When we care about each other, we are fearless for one another. Right? When we care about each other, we become each other's champions. We become each other's warriors. And that's why often, that's often why when another person says, oh, we don't talk anymore, and they say, why? And they say, because you indicated, right? This is why it's no small thing, right? It's no small thing when another person says, oh, right, you make things harder. Because what they're really saying is, I don't feel inclined to lift it. Right? It's not you. Right? It's not you over emphasizing upon it. It's the space by which another person is, like, in that moment, right? That's another person that's effectively broadcasting to you, right? Like the space by which they're trying to subtly broadcast to you that they would rather you not be the person that you are. And that's why I keep on seeing, if that's the case, like, you can let them miss you with it, because it should not, I keep on hearing, our love should not be ever be received with a sigh. And when I mean a sigh, which is the space by which another person says, it's fine, which means it's not fine, right? Like the space by which another person goes, it's fine, then goes, which is the modality of another person going, it's like, that is literally the sound. Like that is a full sentence, right? The sound is a full sentence because it's a space by which another person says, I'm going to say it's fine, but I'm doing everything I can to communicate to you that it's not. And when we care about each other, we don't make each other read between the lines. And energy, and I'll tell you right now, energy that constantly feels the space of requiring others to read between the lines, it's a very lonely place to live, right? It's a very lonely place to live, because the space by which another person requires another person to read between the lines becomes the bar. They become the bars that they trap themselves in a very quiet experience, because it's a modality by which the energy around them is constantly feeling like the barbs, right? Those silent barbs that are constantly communicated without them saying anything. And then the energy going, why aren't you ever here? Ugh, right? Why aren't you ever here? Right? Because the barbs, right? It's like walking through an energetic minefield. And so I feel like there's something really important about that, because I keep on seeing, right? I feel like it's not the space by which you can say to another person, and that's what's hard about it often when I see energy like this, the space by which you have to say to another person, you don't have to say anything, but you're broadcasting it in the way that and this is what happens. The disparity between the space by which one person says, but I didn't say anything, being like, but you didn't need to say anything, right? Because you're emoting your feelings in such a way that you're making them clear. It's the space by which it creates, right, a very painful space by which another person has to navigate, right? It's often, it's like the shape of trauma that another person is putting into things. So it's okay for you to articulate to another if you see like the disparity between what they say versus how they effectively move as they say it. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, I feel like this often happens with energy that holds like a deep like ancestral connection with us, right? Like it feels like the space by which we understand. Like I keep on seeing, like it often gets more attenuated the closer that we are to someone, because we can read each other more intimately, right? And I feel like often, like I often see energy that's in these experiences or working through things like this, right? We don't like, there's nothing more dangerous than not being able to state what your needs are, because the modality by which another person, like the thing about trauma is constantly asking us to love each other by violating each other's boundaries. That's the hardest thing about recognizing a trauma space. It's a space by which you say, are you okay, right? And someone goes, yes, and they clearly mean no. I go, okay, is there anything you need? I'm fine, right? Those are the bars that someone's putting around themselves, but it's not your responsibility to get them out of there. Because the thing about it is, you doing so would be a violation of their boundaries, right? It's the space by which we articulate and advocate for ourselves that allow us to be safe. And it's very convenient for those who are trauma informed to create a space by which they don't articulate their needs. And then in the space by which they don't articulate their needs, they often create the modality or the experience of being able to identify and articulate upon, right, the space by which they articulate upon it, because when you finally cross over that threshold, right, you have to go in and reach for them time and again. But then the one time they don't desire to, they say, hey, I never asked you to do that, right? And then that's the convenience of it. So I feel like it's you being able to communicate to another and say, I'm respecting you more. I'm loving you more than anyone you've ever met, because I'm allowing you to build into the context of articulating, right? And you can say to someone, I'm here, but I'm not going to overstep. Thank you so much for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is closed today, but you can get on the list tomorrow, and you will be the first person read for. You'll also have priority, which means you'll be read for before we start the daily collective. Next person on the list for today. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Yes, yeah, I like the fact that I like the fact that you knew what I meant by the fanciness I was seeing there, Dandy. Thank you for confirming. Absolutely. Yeah, you agree, body language says a lot. And I can see the fact that you're very sensitive to it, right? I wouldn't be surprised. Like I can see that. Yeah, everything that says everything and the noises. Yeah, it's so hard. No, I know. It's incredibly hard, right? It's really hard for empaths not to push on those bars. But that's the thing about it. You can't. Like if you're an empath, you push on those bars, you're never in more danger. You know? How you doing there, Caitlin? I've learned to be like, I don't think you are, but okay, come to me if you want to. Exactly. Like that is the sound of building healthy boundaries. You're so welcome, Heather. Or I'm open to talking about it if there's something. That's beautifully, really beautifully stated, Nikki. I know it's really hard, right? It shouldn't have to be that hard, but such is where we find ourselves. All right, we're going to continue right now. The next person, I feel like I'm not sighing at you. I'm sighing with you. Okay, we're going to continue right now. The next person I'm reading for right the next person I'm reading for right now is Mimi. Mimi, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And if anybody else would like to get on the list right now, you will be the first person read for tomorrow. You sent okay, thank you for letting me know, dear. Okay. And also a reminder, we are at 23.3K likes. When we get to 50K, I'll be gifting a reading back to the collective, so make sure you're tapping that screen and we'll get to 50K in no time. Okay. Okay. No problem. You're welcome, dear. Okay. So I just want to confirm, is this inside tea or outside tea? Oh, it's okay. So is this something that you want to share just between you and I, or is this something that you feel comfortable for me to share like in here? It's okay. I have nothing to apologize for. Okay, thank you. And before we continue right now, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got an animal spirit guide card here. We're going to count back from 10, and when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the salmon. We'll do that again after the next reading. Okay. Thank you. And just a reminder to those who are waiting for 1-card readings, we've got 3 more readings today before we get to 1 card. Thank you so much for your time. You're so welcome, dear. I wanted to share some context to get more clarification. Okay, so we see here that there's we're doing a relationship reading. For some time, my partner and I have been going through the ins and outs of balancing relationship in terms of divine masculine and divine feminine energy. I feel like I've been working hard to heal my divine femininity, but there hasn't been, but you have not seen the reciprocation on, you feel that you have not seen the reciprocation on their end as well. There's still reactivity and sensitivity that can cause friction that often leads to mistrust. You are also someone who works in the spiritual space. You've done a lot of work to maintain healthy and happy. It seems like there are blockages here that you're not seeing. You want to know how you can heal together and stay together in love and cohesively so you can grow in love to each other and not just continue to trigger reactivity in one another. You don't want us to break, but to continue growing together instead of apart. Absolutely beautiful. Can I please get 4 cards, please? Highest priority. Thank you. And 2 more. Oh, got it. Okay. Oh, hold on a minute. You got some strong guides, my friend. Hold on. Give me a sec. All right, let me put these here. Okay, let's get to it. I can see it. All right, it's fine. It's okay. Did you? I don't know if you just like really. Okay, it's fine. We're getting okay. All right, so all right, let's get to it. And here's the thing about it. And I'm gonna like the one thing I need to you need to recognize, and I think it's really important for this is the way you both are working on things is going to show up in different ways. Okay, that is the most important thing that I'm seeing here. Like I need to stress that there's something very valuable and important in relationality to working through the understanding of and I want to point this out, right? I feel like I see you and them striving to find a healthy energetic balance. And the work that we like the work that we effectively do when it comes to balance is recognizing and identifying what feels like it will effectively create the space of, and I keep on getting the one word that's coming through on this is empowerment. And why is that word empowerment so energetically important here? Because I feel like I see I feel like I see a situation or circumstance where, like, I see one person who works really, really hard, um, to energetically please. But the space by which we understand and work through that, and I feel like this is what you need to articulate to another person about it, is, um, and this is the best way I can describe it. And I think you're going to know what I mean when I talk about this. Honoring feelings, right? Honoring feelings does not mean that we honor every energetic feeling. It's the way that we understand, and I want to point out the word honor, right? We have to get back to the root honor. Honor doesn't mean expressing, right? It's not the space by which we're perpetually expressing. There's a fallacy in believing that the honoring the feelings is just expressing every feeling at every single moment. That's not honoring feelings, because honoring feelings is how we carry something, right? It's understanding that the weight of what we carry holds it holds an impact, right? It's heavy stuff. It's valuable and important. So the way that we effectively work through that is by identifying and recognizing, and I want you to kind of help another person, like the important thing about it is the way we honor our feelings, right? Is making sure that the feeling has a direction attached to it. If you're ever unsure, okay? If you're ever unsure if your feeling is valid, try to strap a direction to it. Okay? That is going to be the fastest way. That's going to be the fastest way to recognize if the work that needs to happen is an inside problem or an outside problem, right? If it's something that we need to work within ourselves upon, or something that another person can help us with. Because that right there, when we don't do that, then we often create the space, and this sometimes happens with someone who's starting their healing journey. They're like, I'm trying to do what you tell me to do. I'm trying to express my feelings, and being like, I appreciate, and this is why the thing you have to say to someone, you appreciate the fact that the expressing of the feelings is good, right? And unfortunately, when another person has been restrictive on their emotions for so long, right, there needs to be that proportionality by which the one learns to express them. But the direction, the emotions should not be the space by which we express everything, because if the way that the ones we express, if the emotion can't have a direction attached to it, which is a space by which we say, this is how I feel and this is what it would work to alleviate it, then that's internal work, right? That observation shows us exactly what direction the work needs to go, right? And I feel like that is what you need to potentially communicate to another, not in the space by which, right? And I keep on hearing none of this. I don't know why I keep on hearing this is why those two cards came out, right? Nothing, no polarizing energy, right? And polarizing energy, and you have to understand this, there's polarizing energy in the space by which you say to someone, I wish you would talk to me more. And then all they're doing is expressing all of the emotions, but then the emotions don't have direction. Then you say, this isn't helpful. And someone going, oh, you asked for this. I guess I won't do it anymore, right? So not the space by which another person is either express. That's why those two cards flew out, right? Not the space by which another person is like you asked for expressing and they express so much that there's nothing that it feels more, right? It feels more like someone barraging you as opposed to triage, right? And I feel like that's what you both need to work upon, right? The difference between a barrage versus triage in a conversation is not the space by which we tell another person, this is how you make me feel, but this is how I desire. This is what I would desire to feel. This is how I aspire to feel. This is how I aspire for us to communicate. So make sure, and I need to point this out, is I feel like I feel like there has been some rough points between you, and it gets harder the more rough points there are. You guys, and I feel like this is the point that shows some of the work that you may have to do, right? You can't forgive and still harbor. We can't be in the space of forgiving and still harboring, which is a space by which we say when we actively forgive, we recognize that we let go of the past in order to do something better, right? Which says the only way we can pull the past back is as a tool, not a weapon. Something referential, being like, this reminds me of this. This is what we should have done instead of you always do this, right? Like the minute we start saying you always do this, we then block the manifestation from coming in, right? Because we're saying, I've given up, I've abandoned the possibility that anything could be better, right? So making sure that with your words, you're articulating and saying, I keep on hearing the difference between saying to someone always versus can I bring up the fact that I'm noticing a pattern, right? The difference that happens in the space of saying you always do this versus I've noticed a pattern between us that I would like to address because I aspire for it to be a better pattern. Because a healthy relationship is built upon beautiful patterns, and your ability to observe them, right, is not the modality by which you say, right, not the space by which you feel energetically hopeless, but the space by which you say, hey, we're falling back into that bad pattern again, right? Remember we articulated, remember what we said, remember those tools we said we were going to apply when we saw that happening, right? Not the space by which we hold forth and say, right? Like that, the only way that can happen is if we start having a conversation upon what's possible, not upon the experience of caring. And I keep on hearing, it's okay to say to somebody, I'm still in the process of healing something, but there's no possibility of a healthy relationship when another person says, I can, like, and sometimes we recognize this with ourselves. The space by which we say, I can never forgive that, is often the space by which we have to recognize that that is what we have. Like you can't be in a relationship with things that you never can forgive, because that doesn't become a relationship. That doesn't become an even relationship. That becomes another person constantly trying to make up for something, right? That's not balance. That's moving into, right? That's moving into a relationship that feels more, doesn't feel like healthy so much as it feels like someone energetically like begging or working into it, right? So make sure that you're having, I feel like it's almost like you, and again, I know that you said that you do practice in the spiritual space, working potentially on helping to release some of that. It doesn't mean, right? It doesn't mean you have to let go of everything, but the space by which you understand and identify what would make it easier to heal is what is helping each other have the tools we need to be able to build back stronger. Thank you so much for having that reading with me. And that's what I was effectively seeing. Like, and I feel like these were the two, I just want to show you, these are the two cards that came out from your guides and they like flew out of the deck, right? Which says, right, like like this is not lost. These are tools, right? Every modality by which something hasn't worked is helping you show like what will work. So make sure that you're having hopeful conversations, not hopeless ones. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, dear. And if this message connected to you as well, and it's interesting too, because like I would typically give a bottom of the deck, but I feel like I'm being strongly pulled not to, because I keep on saying that's what needs to heal, right? That's what needs to heal. Like, no, leaving the bottom of the deck alone. We're not going to drag that out. They gave you extra cards. Like the guides literally brought out extra cards to be like, don't touch the bottom of the deck. Move towards these cards. I know it's there. I know it's accessible. I know it's in reach. Thank you so much for having that reading with me. I don't know why. I feel like there's an ocean connection to one of your guides. So I feel like they were trying to articulate that to let you know that they were present here as well. Thank you so much for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. The list is closed, but if you want to get on the list tomorrow, you'll be the first person read for. You'll also have an additional card in your reading. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Yep, you're welcome, dear. No, they threw those 2 cards out. It was wild. No problem. Good to see you, Bridget. Yeah, you're so welcome, dear. I'm so glad. I'm so glad it helped. And thank you for being here and receiving these messages. Oh, Sunny, you've got, I know it's not easy right now, but I feel like you've got it, right? Just, I feel like this is helping you. Like, I feel like this is trying to help you figure out like how to I keep on seeing like you've got like these are like, this isn't like, there's tools there, you know, but I feel like you have to both be in that space of being able to understand, like work through that. Thank you so much, dear. All right, the next person we're reading for today is Sissy. Sissy, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you would like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And as a reminder, we are also at 24.2K likes over on the Clock app. When we get to 50K, I'll be gifting a reading back to the collective. Welcome to those who are joining us over on the place where we keep the videos. Just a reminder, we have 2 more. Hi there, Rena. How are you doing today? Oh, I'm so glad you're enjoying it. You're a Cancer rising. Oh, how are you doing right now? Yeah, I feel like this energy might be a little bit easier for those with Cancer placements. And thank you as well, Mustajab, for being here as well in the place where we keep the videos. So just a reminder, the list is closed, but we will be doing 1-card readings for subscribers and those who are paid members over on the place where we keep the videos. So if you are sticking around right now for your 1 cards, we've got 2 more readings before we begin. Questions on your list? Nobody wants to see the font. So Sissy, I need you to be a little bit more specific in terms of what you're asking for. Do you have a specific question that you're looking to be read for? Are you looking for a general reading? Because all I've seen here is a letter and the word question. So I just want to make sure that something that you're stating hasn't been filtered, because sometimes the app filters what we're stating. And while we wait for Sissy's question to come through, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. We're going to count back from 10. And when we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the frog. Thanks. We'll do it again after the next reading. Okay, I just need you to provide the specific question, Sissy. If you've already posted it, it hasn't come through yet. So if you could, if there are certain words, that you're adding, sometimes what might be blocking me from moving forward. Okay, got you. All right, can I please have a general reading, life path reading, please? And I am going, and I've pinned up Sissy here. Make sure to give Sissy some love. Where we go? Where'd my cards go? Thank you. 4 cards, please. Oh, 3 cards. And 1 more. Oh, wow. You've got 7 of wands here. So I feel like the important thing that I'm identifying is making sure that you're doing something right now. I keep on getting the words with a unified purpose in mind is what I keep on seeing. And I want to describe this because there's something I'm seeing here that, like this frog energy, and I want to point this out, and I just like, it's interesting that I was able to leave like the frog energy here with the Seven of Wands. Is frog, like, I feel like there's something that's happening right now in relationality to an Aries placement. And I want to describe too that those who have Aries placements in particular spaces can often feel like there's energy that comes here often to heal their Aries placement, because what we effectively identify is the space by which we feel a lot of feelings can sometimes create a reactivity point in us that make it hard for us to see past the immediacy of the energetic emotion that we're feeling in the moment of expressing it. And I see the fact that there's been a lot of trauma. Like, and the hard part about this is like, and I feel like when I see energy like this, it almost says to me that there's something about you having to be very energetically aggressive very early on, or having to be in a space by which another person encouraged you to be aggressive, right? And this is sometimes, and often the space by which another person tries to identify that they're making us stronger. But the older, like the older we get, we recognize that the latent harm in terms of trying to say to another person that they're energetically hurting us with the desire to make us stronger. Because what often happens in those experiences is they're trying to prepare us for a life path that they lived, not the one that is energetically before us. And so I feel like there's a lot of that energy here, right? And I feel like some of it was like, it feels almost like it's hardest when it feels well placed, right? Like the space by which another person was trying to articulate that they were trying to help you, like they were trying to help you because you needed it to survive, but often understanding, and this is often what we talk about when it comes to ancestral healing, right? The modality by which when we build into healthy energy, we recognize that the energy before us may have, like there's room to understand and explore more, right? It's not based upon the understanding of trying to say, oh, you have to be stronger because like the world's out to get you. But often the space by which that's often the sound of someone who's accidentally trying to care for us, but instead effectively instilling fear in us in the process of us trying to heal. And so I feel like I see, like I've got a lot of strength around you, right? And I almost have, like, I've got a lot of this energy where I see you kind of like having to move through these modalities by which you are having to experience things that made you, like spaces in the past by which you had to be reactive. But I keep on seeing that same reactivity, right? And that's what's so hard about it. Often when we're healing from trauma spaces, the reactivity that we experience within, right, can often express itself as like the reactivity that we're working to let go of, because it creates the space by which we work towards understanding that there's energy around us that is seeking like peace and harmony. And so I feel like that's really important, right? Which is to say, like, if you're in a modality by which one feels energetically provoked, right? Sometimes just articulating it helps one to be able to define if it's something that another person if it's something that another person is intending, or if we're feeling energetically triggered, is what I keep on getting. And I feel like it's really difficult because I almost like, I feel like I see you healing right now. And I almost see, like, I almost see some kind of peaceful around environment around you. But this is, like, I need to stress this. This is why when we're on a healing journey, peaceful can be scary, right? Because when you're not used to peace, right? Peace, like, it feels like foreboding, right? It can feel overwhelming. It can feel oppressive. So I want you to kind of think about that because I feel like I see you, and I need to stress this. Everything I see here says that you're working through it, right? And I want you to identify that if there are ever those moments that you're feeling blocked, I would almost make sure that you're writing down like what would be better, right? Because that, I feel like some of that blockage point in terms of you understanding and recognizing how that feels is like, I feel like some of it might be informed in some of the trauma that I'm seeing there, like as it relates to like the stability that's actually being created in you kind of like finding that peace for yourself. Because the thing is, and I like to point this out, right? Like when we feel the space by which, especially when we're younger and we're constantly provoked all the time, then sometimes the feeling that we feel energetically blocked is simply I keep learning, sometimes it's the nervous system that's coming into energetic alignment, right? Because it's the stillness that arrives when we don't feel like we have to be energetically provoked, like we don't feel the space by which we have to be provoked at every moment, or the feeling of being ready at any moment to be provoked. Bottom of the deck, yeah, particularly with the Lover's card and its reversal. I feel like I feel like there's a lot of work that I'm seeing here in relationality to, I keep on hearing, healthy relationship does not require one to be perfect. It's the observation of being able to identify what one is working upon. So if this is something that you're working through, and especially as you're building relationships, make sure that you're articulating to another person that that's the case, right? Because I feel like there's a lot of work that I see here that you're potentially doing and recognizing, right? Your own, what it is that you are actively working to change. And I keep on seeing like that's what we give to each other as we're healing, right? It's not the fact that we have to put that false guise of perfectness on, but being able to be clear upon what it is that we are effectively trying to do better. Thank you so much for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. The list is closed. If you want to get on Laurel, you'll be the first person read for. You'll also have priority, which means you'll be read for before we start the daily collective. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Yeah, you saw that tower there, Per, right? It's hard. Thank you for sharing the live, Chris. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. I'm such a chill person. But I need to point out, if you are a chill person, that's like, it shows how far you've come, right? Absolutely. And continue to do that work. All right, we're going to continue right now. The next person we're reading for today is Adam. Adam, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you would like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And if anybody else would like to, as I mentioned, the list is closed. For anybody who's waiting for a one-card reading, we have one more reading today before we get started on one cards. That is inclusive of anyone who is over on the clock app or on the place where we keep the videos. Your paid membership on the place where we keep the videos will entitle you to one card, and if you're joining us on the clock app, your superfan status will entitle you to one as well. I'd like to be able to offer that on the place where we keep the photos, but I need you guys' help with that. If you guys could take a moment today and give me a follow there and comment followed, I'll be happy to give you a thank you by means of reading you an affirmation from the Guide for the Advanced Soul. And if you are already following me there and you share the live with 3 individuals and comment shared, I'll be happy to also read you one as well. Excellent. Got it. You sent me the dream. I got you, dear. I'm on it. Give me a minute. Okay. And is this inside is this as inside to your, I mean, is this an outside to your dream? I know, we're doing a dream reading. It's exciting. Excellent. Excellent. And before we get started, dear, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide card here. We're going to count back from 10. And when we get to 1, I'll reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the swan. We'll do that again after the next reading. Excellent. And I'm going to pin up Adam here. It's nothing salted. I like the way that you wrote that. Guys, make sure to give Adam some love. Excellent. Okay. Here we go. Oh, you know what it means. We're doing a dream. Dream coconut. Okay. In the dream, I was in the place where I currently live, but it appeared as a house. I was downstairs and my roommate was upstairs. At first, I felt really happy and comfortable. Suddenly, my roommate moved a family of 5 into a spare room next to mine. Even though in real life, there are no spare rooms. I immediately felt very uncomfortable and unhappy as I value my own space and did not want to live around a large family, especially with children. The family moved in instantly, and I got a strong sense that they did not want me to leave. At one point, I looked at the mother, and she made a strange gesture, circling her chest with her hands, and then making a cutthroat motion toward the rest of her family. This made me feel threatened. I tried to find my roommate, but she had disappeared and was nowhere to be found. When I attempted to leave the house, one of the sons grabbed my arm to stop me from leaving. I then went to my room, which looked different from my real room, and I saw that my bed had been replaced with a small children's bunk bed. At that point, it felt clear that I was not welcome and that the family had been brought in to get rid of me. I woke up feeling very scared and unsettled. Four cards, please. So it's a shadow work dream, clearly. And the shadow work dream is effectively working through. I feel like it's working through an energetic trust wound. And the thing about trust wounds that can sometimes feel really heavy is, and again, the hard part about shadow work dreams is that often the guides like to bring shadow work dreams towards us in the space of someone that you would never expect it to be in, to be able to see the full extent of what we have been through. Okay, so I want to articulate this here, and I feel like and that's why, again, I wouldn't be surprised if you say to me that the energetic connection that you had in relationality to the person that you effectively share space with you feel very secure and healthy within, because that's often the strongest indicator that we're seeing a shadow work dream. Because the hard part with shadow work dreams is the guides literally put the shadow work in a place by which we never would expect it, because it shows us, right? It shows us what we're healing from with clarity, because it feels so energetically incongruous to who we know someone to energetically be. So what do we see that's happening in the dream space, right? You identify, right? The first sign we see that this is a shadow work dream, as you said, it felt like you're apart. You felt like where you live currently, but you said that the space had effectively transformed into a house, right? So it's the modality by which we understand that the house itself is bigger, because we're talking about the mansion of the self, right? And the space by which, I wouldn't be surprised if you feel, right? If you feel a lot of that, if you feel the space by which you have a healthy relationship with someone, but the modality of experiencing a situation by which another person allows a family to move in often it's talking about working to heal as it relates to new energetic connections, right? And the modality by which you effectively see in the dream space, the space by which, and this isn't, and this is often, this is the difference between, right, like what we experience in terms of like habitation versus what we experience energetically. Because again, this is an energetic dream that's helping you to see what you're healing from in the form of a place by which you'd never find it, right? How irrational or unreasonable it would be for someone to make a determination, right, without allowing you, right, the ability to have a feeling about it. But this is often how it feels in circumstances or situations with those that we're energetically connected to, right? Because we don't know the nature of the energetic relationships that we find connected to one another. So that the space by which you identified that you felt uncomfortable, right, could be navigating the space and situation. And again, I'm going to articulate this isn't necessarily related to the person that you're currently talking about, but having to had experienced trauma around someone making, right, being in a relationship with someone that makes an energetic choice with connection by which they did not potentially articulate how you felt about it, but something that potentially felt was necessary or conditional in the space by which you still had them in your life, right? And so that's what we see in terms of the fact that you said the family moved in instantly, and you said you got a strong sense that they did not want you to leave. Now, this is often what occurs in the identification point of recognizing and identifying how we feel towards energetic choices, right? When we're in relationship with someone, right? Like, it's very difficult to be in a relationship with someone who's energetically connected to other energy that feels like they're broadcasting to us that they would rather not have us there, right? The modality by which we effectively work through something is often articulated and identified by feeling energetically unified. So we see that this is either a situation by which you yourself have experienced this in the past, right? Because again, the thing about the dream space is we can never experience things there that we haven't already felt, right? So you're healing from a trauma by which you may have felt that you had to move away from a deep connection with someone, right? Someone that you cared about deeply, who almost was insisting that you try to stay in their life, but the modality of the energy around them potentially made it impossible because it was creating trauma for you to be around them, in the space by which they weren't protecting you from the energy that they brought with them, right? And this is why we talk about, this is what we talk about in relationality to being protective of one another, right? The modality by which, and this is what I feel like that's what's happening in the space by which and it's interesting that your roommate's coming in the dream because they're helping to show you how painful that is, right? Because if this was tangibly happening in the space of the roommate, it wouldn't be okay, right? Like this is your roommate stepping forth as guide in the dream space saying, like, it wouldn't be okay for that to happen, right? For them to effectively put you in the midst of a bunch of energy and then you look for them and they're gone, right? So, but this is what you potentially experienced, right? The space by which, like, another person tried to potentially build you. I wouldn't be surprised if this has to do with a friend group, right? And saying like, oh, you know, it's your job to get along, and you being like, I can't get along with a bunch of energy that's effectively articulating at every moment that they would rather not have me there. So we see that this is the modality by which you identified that you were attempting to leave the house, and one of the sons grabbed your arm to stop you from leaving. And this is what we often talk about that's so difficult in relationality, to navigating the space by which we try to take care of the self. And the reason I keep on seeing this, and in terms of the sun energy, this is where it gets into the space of inner child healing, right? Because what do we see in the space of the child, right? The inner child that's reaching out for you in that moment is you, right? And that is you that is reaching out to you in that moment and saying, right? When we care about each other, right? When we care about each other, we endeavor to create, right? When we care about each other, we endeavor to create safe energetic spaces, right? It's the modality by which we effectively work. We work into the space of building into the context of trying to energetically heal, right? It's the observation and the recognition of effectively bringing forth the modality by which we articulate and amplify, right, how much we energetically care about things. So we see that even in the modality by which that was energetically occurring, right? Like the child that's reaching out to you is effectively your inner child saying, it's not your responsibility, right? It shouldn't have to be your responsibility to always be the one to create the energetic peace, that the peace must be shared, right? It must be something that feels collaborative. It must be something that we embark upon doing together. And I feel like that's effectively why we see that you said that when you went back to your room, which looked different from your real room, and you saw that the bed had become replaced by a small child's bunk bed, right? That is because you've moved back into the inner child healing in terms of understanding a situation by which you felt that it was better that you might go away because of one person that didn't necessarily like you in the face of a bunch of energy that was basically begging you to stay, right? And you said at that point, you said it felt clear that you were not welcome and the family had been brought in to get rid of me. But here's the thing we see with the inner child healing, because now you're in the space of the inner child. You aren't yourself anymore. You're the child in that family. When the child grabbed you, you became the child. So the modality of you recognizing the space that it starts, right? It's not that the family wanted you gone, right? It was one person in that dream space that was broadcasting you that they didn't like you. Everyone else was begging you to stay, but this is often what happens in the space by which we navigate. Unfortunately, bad energy sometimes is loud energy, right? It feels like it roars, it drowns out all the pleas of the healthy energy that says, help me, please stay. So that modality of you recognizing that is how you're healing, because it's the observation that what was occurring in that space was it wasn't everybody, it was just one person. And your ability of not allowing that person to dictate the way you feel about everyone else is how you're healing too. Bottom of the deck. Unfortunately, and this is the thing about it, the responsibility, right? And this is where you may have recognized the abandonment wound. because there's an abandonment wound in this dream. The responsibility of the energy around that person to make them stop making you feel that way, that is the space by which that was their responsibility, not yours, right? Not the space by which you have to become likable, but the recognition point that when others are aware, right? When others are aware of energetic mistreatment in the air, the energy works to effectively heal it. It shouldn't create the space by which you feel responsible to have to navigate it. So I feel like a lot of this dream space that we're seeing is kind of helping to show you what you're working upon healing right now. And a lot of it, that unpacking is potentially helping to recognize, right? Trying to get back, right? Trying to get back to the source that made you first feel like you didn't energetically belong. That was not your fault. That was wrong. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, dear. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings. The list is closed today. But if you would like to get on the list for tomorrow, you'll be the first person read for. You'll also have first priority, which means you'll be read for before we start the daily collective. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Excellent. Thank you, dear. And thank you for letting me read on it, dear. No, it is. Like Adam is the swan in that dream. Exactly. I will quote Bridget. Boom, intimacy wound. Yeah. What's up with the shadow work in this period? It's going to come up right now. You know, this type of energy, there's going to be a lot of shadow work coming up. Yeah. And thank you so much again, Adam, for sharing that with me and sending you so much support on your healing journey. All right, my friends. We're going to get started on one card readings for subscribers. If you are a subscriber, go ahead and put your question in the comment. If you're joining us over on the place where we keep the videos, you can post your question as well. Ava, one card on the new players at this time. I feel like this is you kind of working through, like, I feel like there's something that feels like it's getting sharper or clearer for you. And I think a lot of it has to do, I feel like you're getting better at recognizing what is your energy versus what someone else's energy feels like, is what I'm getting. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, especially with the Hermit energy. That's not mine. Getting better, like, I love the fact that getting better with energy work is being like, wait, that's not mine. That's not my energy. Wait a minute. It's like that. Animal spirit, oracle card, please. Yeah, like the cat energy, right? You're becoming a bit more aware in terms of being able to discern, like, what is yours versus what feels like something that you're experiencing. Thank you. And per guides showing me, oh, really? Okay, one card. You want one card? Like, the amount of the things you want one cards for. How dare you? So, I mean, you're not giving me a lot of context to go on, but the thing I keep on seeing in relationality to that is, it feels like I feel like there's something. I feel like there's something about. I feel like there's something important there in relationality to. It feels like it's connected to a past life. It feels like it's connected to a past life. Yeah, it's like, yeah, especially with the Hermit energy. Right? Hermit energy, animal spirit guide. Yeah. Right. And I think it's interesting too, because like it feels like it's connected to divine partnership or working through the space by which you, and one of the things you'll be able to articulate upon about you and them sharing a dream space or having a lot of like energetic memories together, because like you're doing a lot of work right now to heal that we see in the dream space. So that's why you're seeing the dream journal of the past life connection, because it feels to me like there's something important. Like it's you're having, like, how do I describe this? You're having dreams that are familiarizing you with an energy that you knew in the past life. So the reason that there's a dream journal there is because it's like it's the understanding of like working through, like understanding the self through the context of another who knows you really well, right? Like that can sometimes feel very overwhelming. You're asking a lot. I'm trying to do my best with a one card there. Yep, absolutely. Avatar, one card, priority, please. The Knight of Wands. I feel like I see somebody around you, you know, I feel like I see somebody around you that's energetically hurting, but like bottom of the deck with like the Hermit card in its reversal, like I don't know why I keep on hearing you can't help somebody who's hurt themselves, you know? Um, Animal spirit guide. Yeah, like the air dragon, I'm just gonna say this, like, um, we say what we mean and we mean what we say, and we don't say things to get our way, because often, right? Often the space by which, like, it feels to me like someone who, um, like it almost feels like somebody who didn't recognize like how kind-hearted you are, particularly in relationality to the way that you navigate the world, is what I keep on seeing, you know? Like it's like it almost feels like there's some kind of protection there, you know? Like there's something heavy. You know, and often, like, I need to point out, like, sometimes when I see something like that, it's somebody who realizes, like, it's a really sad state of affairs when you say, like, why aren't you connected? Why aren't you energetically connected to someone? And being like, I keep wondering, they kinded themselves out of my existence, which is a space by which you did nothing but make kind choices, and suddenly you're nowhere near them, you know? Yeah. One moment. Alexandra, one card general, please. Oh my God, so many cards. It's not one. I feel like, I feel like there's something important there. Like I said, like this feels like a continuation of your guides. Like, I feel like there's an there's something here related to the guides that are just, I feel like it's the expression of another person telling you um, how energetically proud they are of you, is what I keep on seeing. You know, like there's a lot of this energy that I see that's there. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, especially in relationality to um, two of two of Pentacles, bottom of the deck. Um, I feel like it feels like a reaffirmation of the reading that we gave, which is to say, like I feel like you're healing from a lot of past experiences by which you feel like you question yourself out of something. Your questions are blessed, right? Anything that you lost because you asked a question wasn't something that was energetically healthy for you. And I don't know why they keep on bringing that up, but I feel like that's because your questions purify things. So I feel like there's something important about that that's being communicated, specifically as it relates to healing and resolving something from the past. Absolutely. Avatar, you're so welcome, dear. All right, my friends, final call right now for anyone who is a super fan who would like a card pulled, or for anyone who is a paid member over on the place where we keep the videos, and also for anyone who would like to have an affirmation over on the place where we keep the photos. Just a note, our class time has changed for our next tarot class. It is going to be held on Friday, April 17th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We are going to be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the court cards in the wand suit. If you would like to become part of that, if you became a subscriber today, welcome. And please make sure to message me directly with a disco gift, and I will go ahead and send you an invite to our subscriber-only disco channel. You can introduce yourself to the collective there, and you'll also find in the disco a special coupon code that will give you a discount to that tarot class subscription program. We'll be back on tomorrow a little bit later than typical. We'll be back on at about, we should be on tomorrow at about 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. PST. I believe that's the time I put. Double check. Go ahead and head over to my profile. You'll see the bell there, and you'll also see the event. Go ahead, you can register there directly. And if you get on the list today, you will have first priority tomorrow, which means you'll be read for before we start the daily collective. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages. Huge thank you to my followers, old and new. Thank you for being here and receiving these messages. Huge thank you to my subscribers. Your ongoing support means the absolute world to me. And the biggest thank you to my mods. Thank you for all of your help today, Kay, Megan. I hope you're getting some rest. I hope you guys have an absolutely beautiful day. Please take care of yourselves. Please take care of one another. And we'll do this again tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone.